problems she's been creating over the last 3.5 years.
All right, we're live.
He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris didn't open up the southern border and let millions of illegal aliens in, even though we know she did.
Talking about Tim Walz.
He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris didn't cast the deciding vote on trillions of dollars of new spending, which created the worst affordability crisis in 40 years. And he's got to pretend that Kamala Harris actually has eyes. He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris actually has eyes. He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris actually has eyes. He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris actually has eyes. He's got to pretend that Kamala Harris actually has eyes.
All right, I'm going to fix it. Sorry about that, guys.
Ideas in her head for how to govern the United States of America.
Oops. Can you guys hear me and system audio?
Now, if you are the praying type, and I imagine a lot of us are, please say a prayer for Tim Walz because they're asking him to do the impossible.
Thank you.
Kamala Harris acts like she's the candidate of change when she's been in office for 4 years. She says she can fix everything, but Kamala, day one was 1,400 days ago. What the hell have you been doing that whole time? Now, my favorite Kamala Harris moment is that when somebody asks her for specifics on how she'll make life more affordable or groceries cheaper, she'll say, well, I grew up in a middle-class family. You say, Kamala Harris, how are you going to close down the southern border? Because for 4 years, you've left it wide open. And she'll say, well, I made the hash browns when I worked at McDonald's, and I was pretty good at it. And anybody with a lick of common sense is saying, Kamala Harris, you didn't answer the question.
Thanks for being here, guys.
You didn't actually tell the American people how you're going to fix what you broke. And I got to be honest with you. Even on that McDonald's answer, I'm not sure that she ever worked at McDonald's. In fact, I think our president, Donald J. Trump, has probably worked at McDonald's for longer than Kamala Harris has.
As if working at McDonald's is a virtue.
Now, I will say, I'm going to say one thing in Kamala Harris's defense. She does one thing very well. Look at this. You guys, you weren't expecting me to be so bipartisan, but I will say this for Kamala, that every time she does an interview, I think Donald Trump picks up about 100,000 votes.
It's a big pep rally.
Now, we're, of course, in one of the proud baseball cities in the United States of America.
What's up, back Shmo? How you doing? WCMW.
So you know the problem with a softball interview is that you've got to be able to hit a softball still. And that's the problem with Kamala Harris is I don't think that she could hit a T-ball based on what we've seen over the last couple of weeks. When she was asked what she would do differently compared to Joe Biden, she said, nothing comes to mind. She's running on how she's going to be different, but she couldn't name a single thing that she would do differently than Joe Biden. Now, I will say that could be the Kamala Harris official campaign slogan. Kamala Harris, nothing comes to mind. Now, the other day, CNN asked if she had made any mistakes as vice president. Now, here's what she actually said, and I am quoting word for word. She said, in my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well-versed on issues, and I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well-versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question. Now, I have no idea what any of that means, and frankly, neither do any of you. None of us know what the hell she says. Now, she may not be able to name any of her mistakes, but the American people sure can. And 9 days from now, we're going to tell Kamala Harris, You're fired. Go back to San Francisco where you belong. Get the hell out of the White House. Now, together, Donald J. Trump and all of us as part of this movement are going to unleash a golden age of American prosperity. We're going to make life affordable again in the United States of America. We're going to put the American dream of homeownership within reach for millions of American young people. We're going to secure our border, and we're going to keep our families safe. We're going to protect your right to free speech and religious liberty. And we're going to do it all thanks to the leadership of one man. Now, we have to remember that one man, Donald J. Trump, 8 years ago, go back 8 years, he had everything. He had fame, he had fortune, he had family, he had friends. But he gave up the easy life to save the United States of America. When they couldn't beat him, they tried to bankrupt him. When that didn't work, they tried to impeach him. When that didn't work, they tried to put him in federal prison. And when that didn't work, they even tried to kill him. But as sure as the American flag still waves, Donald Trump still stands, ready to fight, ready to win, and ready to make America great again. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Let's do it.
All right, guys. I don't know if this is copyrighted music, but I wanted to go to, I don't know when they're going to introduce Donald Trump. Let me see. This is being recorded from, oh, not recorded. It's live stream from RSBN, Right Side Broadcasting. Let's see. I'm just going to mute this real quick. I'm not sure if they're going to introduce Donald Trump next, but I will definitely keep an eye on it. Thanks for being here, WCMW, TI Tikkun, Al, DeShant is here, Baxter Mills here, the Nut House is here. I wanted to go over a couple things that I saw. This is Tulsi Gabbard's 5-minute speech. We will go over that. This is this speech, and I wanted to go over this. The reason I added CNN in here is because Anderson Cooper had an interesting conversation with Charlemagne the God. And it's interesting how absolutely shallow these people are as they sidestep and ignore the fact that politics is just one big fat dog and pony show. And it's just kind of interesting how they do that. We're going to talk about Bruce Springsteen and Eminem and what Obama said. Pretty interesting as we go through what's going on under the big top. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, they just introduced, looks like Eric Trump. Oh, yeah, definitely can't play the final countdown.
New York City!
They're actually playing the final countdown? Give me a break.
The greatest president we have ever had is right behind us. Let's make some noise for him.
It's Laura Trump.
Guys, this isn't politics. This isn't politics. This is a family. It's hard.
That's a lie. This is totally politics.
We love you too. We love you too.
Like a high school pep rally, demoralizing people, treating them as adolescents.
This is so much more than a political movement. This is the greatest family in the world. We are fighting for a country we love.
It's the greatest show on earth.
We are fighting for the American flag. We are fighting for the Constitution. We are fighting for our liberty.
No, you're not.
And as a family, we've been out there every single day over the last 10 years.
You're fighting for power.
They've tried everything they could to destroy my father, to destroy us. Dirty dossiers, Russian hoaxes. They tried to impeach him twice. They went after his Supreme Court nominees. They threw him off of Facebook. They threw him off of Twitter. They threw him off of Instagram. They tried to take away his First Amendment right. Guys, they tried absolutely everything. They weaponized every DA and every AG in this country to try and take down my father. Here in New York, they did exactly that. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James. They tried to destroy his life. They tried to take him off the ballot in Colorado. They tried to take him off the ballot in Maine. They tried to subdue the vote of literally hundreds of millions of Americans who absolutely adore the guy. Guys, it's been political lawfare every single day. And then somebody tried to kill him. And despite that, every single time he stands up and he says, fight, fight, fight. And how do you think it feels for them as we're back at Madison Square Garden, the greatest arena anywhere in the world? Guys, I saw the Rangers play here and win the cup in '94. Every Knicks game, every concert, the greatest arena anywhere in the world. And you better believe the entire party who has failed at taking down Donald Trump, an entire party who has failed at taking down his family, they're sitting there on those cameras right now, watching all of us, watching all of you. Almost 200,000 people tried to get into this event tonight.
Pretty ironic that they're doing this at Madison Square Garden, where they had WWE events.
The streets, Fifth Avenue, all the way from Trump Tower, all the way down to Madison Square Garden, 10 people deep. That's how much love there is in the greatest city anywhere in the world. Guys, in 9 days, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. And not only is he going to make America great again, he's going to make New York City great again. So on behalf of our entire family, thank you. Thank you for being on the greatest ride I could have ever possibly been a part of. Thank you for 10 incredible years. I want you to know, and I speak on behalf of my entire family, I want you to know that we will never stop fighting. My father will never stop fighting. Laura will never stop fighting. I'll never stop fighting. We live in the greatest country in the world. We are not going to allow that to slip away. And I promise you guys, the best days of this nation are ahead of us. I love you very much. New York, it's an honor to be here.
Of course, Laura Trump's going to talk now.
All right, y'all aren't done with us just yet. I'll say a few things if that's okay with everybody here. Can I just say how honored I am to be the co-chair of the Republican National Committee for you guys?
Which is a corporation, by the way.
I'll tell you something, we're making sure that we have free, fair, and transparent elections and nobody's cheating in 2024. Guys, we are 9 days away from making sure we send a loud and clear message to the mainstream media, to the establishment, to the Democrats, to Hollywood, that it is not them. It is we, the people, who choose our president, and we're choosing Donald J. Trump. And I gotta tell you, it is incredible to be here in Madison Square Garden, in New York City, the greatest city on earth, in the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. Because if you think about it, New York City made Donald Trump, right? But Donald Trump also made New York City.
Yeah.
He changed the skyline of this city, rebuilt it. Remember whenever they couldn't get an ice skating rink, Woolman Rink in Central Park? Donald Trump rebuilt the ice skating rink for New York City. By the way, under budget and ahead of schedule, if I'm not mistaken, because that's how we like to do things in the Trump family. And when nobody else was doing it, Donald Trump put his heart and soul right here in New York City. It's true, and this is the city that made him a household name. This is the city that put Donald Trump in so many rap songs, by the way, right? And truly made him the American dream. But I'll tell you something, being a New Yorker teaches you something else, doesn't it? It teaches you how to be tough. It teaches you that it doesn't matter how hard you get hit, you get back up and you keep fighting. When they impeach you, you keep fighting. When they indict you, you keep fighting. When they take a mugshot of you, the greatest mugshot in the history of the world, you keep fighting. And when an assassin's bullet strikes you, you don't lay down. You get up, you stand strong, and you keep fighting, right? Now, in case you guys don't know, Donald Trump likes to go places nobody expects him. Anybody hear about a little rally up the street in the Bronx? Yeah. Does anybody know the last time a Republican president campaigned in the Bronx? It was Ronald Reagan, and ladies and gentlemen, he turned New York red. I'm just saying. It is the honor of my life to be part of this movement. And Eric is right. This is not just about politics. We are all a big family, and we're a family who loves this country. And I can tell you something, 9 days from now, it is going to be the sweetest comeback, because we know the art of the deal. We also know the art of the comeback from Donald Trump that this country has ever seen. Everybody get out, vote early, take a friend to vote. Let's make America great again. We love you, New York.
All right, I'm gonna sounds like they're gonna play Europe's The Final Countdown again, which is hilarious. They're literally playing the final countdown on a campaign rally. Maybe they're saying the final countdown to the election. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I know I slip into this sometimes. Sometimes I call them names, magatards, libtards, and all that kind of stuff. I want to try to move away from that because I want to appeal to people's logic. And I don't want to just try to be edgy and push buttons and just try to trigger people. I already know that the truth is going to trigger people. And the truth is that they're both going to be working for the bankers. When you vote for one person, you're voting for the bankers. You're voting for the people who have their hands on the levers and buttons of power. That's who you're voting for. And somebody's like, yeah, but Trump's going to be way better. You can't say that. You can't say that. You can say, like, we already have a road paved for us. We already know that economically speaking, if you just want to look at under the sun, because presidents don't control economies and their policies, their economic and monetary policies have to be approved by the people who are really in the driver's seat, and that's the Federal Reserve. Who are they? Oh, this is Donald Trump Jr. Yeah, we'll listen to him. While they're talking, I'll try not to interrupt, guys. I know that's probably not so. You don't want to hear me interrupting while they're talking. Let's see. As soon as they get done with the music, I'll just go ahead and play it. God, just a pep rally, man.
Are you guys ready to take your country back?
Are you sick of the insanity? Guys, this is not my first rodeo. It's the third go around, but you think this could have ever happened 4 or 8 years ago in the heart of New York City? The King of New York is back to reclaim the city that he built.
The King of New York? You gotta be kidding me. Wow.
My father changed the skyline of this city. He fixed the things that incompetent bureaucrats couldn't handle. He did that against all odds. He did it for our country too, and now everyone recognizes it. What's unique about this election, folks, you've had 4 years under both leaders. The media would like to pretend that Kamala Harris started her political career about a month ago in a coup, the most democratic process to ever not have a single vote. She's going to be a moderate, folks. She's going to be a moderate. A radical San Francisco liberal. The daughter of a Marxist professor is now magically going to be a moderate. No one's buying it anymore. You know why? Because they've been lying to you for the last 9 years, and you're not buying their crap anymore. You've had enough. The fact that I could drive here today with my father for like 25 blocks and watch the streets of New York lined up with red MAGA hats tells us everything you need to know. You had 4 years under Donald Trump, and despite the most vicious opposition from the media, from big tech, from the Democrats, and even from the weakling Republicans, you got results. We got peace deals done. Our enemies weren't invading their neighbors. The economy grew. Inflation was next to nothing. And then Kamala Harris and Joe Biden took over, and everything went to hell like that. I keep watching it in the news. It's amazing. Kamala Harris is going to fix all these things. I say, you know what? Why hasn't she started fixing them? You know, you've had 4 years. Why didn't you maybe get going? You're going to wait till January 20th? Americans are suffering. People can't make rent. Businesses are going under. Grocery prices are too expensive. I tell a story. Last summer, I was coming back from a fishing trip with 2 of my boys, and we went to McDonald's. And it was $48 for a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, and me. And guys, let me tell you, if Donald Trump Jr. has sticker shock at McDonald's, we have a serious problem. It does not have to be this way, guys. We can change it, but it's going to take all of you. You know, these days, everyone's a tough guy. Everyone's a tough guy on the keyboard, on the internet. Everyone's a badass. But when you get shot in the face and you come back defiant, ready to fight, that's a badass. That's the guy. That's the guy that can fix the problems that we have. That's the guy that's going to keep our enemies in check.
They really want you to believe that official story of the bullet.
That's going to fight for each and every one of you. He's done it once. Let's send him back to Washington, D.C. with an overwhelming mandate to fix the nonsense once and for all.
Exactly, Nuthouse.
Guys, look at the people who have spoken here tonight. And look at some of the people who are still coming. When did you think you'd be able to get RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk?
Oh, they love the billionaire.
People from all different walks of life, incredible skill sets, whether it be health, whether it be technology, everything. You have them on one unified ticket. Think about that. Compare that to Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim.
Tampon Tim.
It ain't the same, folks. Timmy ain't fixing anything, and neither is Kamala. We have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change Washington, to put in common sense practices, to put Americans first, because they're not first right now. The Democrat Party has forgotten about Americans. Rather than cater to Americans, they decided, you know what? It would just be easier to replace them with people who will be reliable voters. The insanity has to stop, and the fact that we can pack Madison Square Garden in the heart of New York City shows me that the spirit of the American people is there.
Shows me the propaganda.
Same spirit my father showed on July 13th
is alive and well.
That's the spirit of America. That's the spirit we need going into Election Day. So for the next 9 days, each and every one of you, you line up like you're the third monkey on line for the ark and it's starting to rain. You vote early, and then you bring your friends so that we can take back our country once and for all.
Line up like a monkey, peasants. Line up.
And when we do that, guys,
I can't believe he said that.
we're not just going to make America great again. We're going to make the world great. We're going to make the world safe. We're going to fix it all. Get out there, guys. And just like you're going to fight, get out there and vote, vote, vote. Thank you, New York City.
Yes.
Love
Vote,
you guys.
vote, vote. I'm so excited. Sam Edmondson says, Brian, your cynicism is going to eat you alive. Hey, I just want to dwell in the land of truth. And I want to brush away any kind of fiction. I don't want to read a storybook. I don't want somebody to put me to sleep by telling me a lie. Give me sweet little lies. No, I don't want it. Truth fears no scrutiny. These guys fear scrutiny. That's why people get mad at you at a Trump rally and they're like, you're at the wrong rally. That's why people get mad at me at a Kamala rally and say, you're at the wrong rally. You need to go to Team MAGA. They're over there drinking the Kool-Aid as they're sitting there funneling Kool-Aid in the Harrisite camp. Yeah, it's utter heresy to expose the fact that whether you vote for Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant, McMahon still walks away making bank. And so does Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. They're just puppets playing for the big WWE show. So when somebody tells me, well, Trump would be way better, by what metric? By what metric? You could literally say Obama was better on, cutting down on border crossings. Who's this? Is this Dana White? No way. Of course, roll out Dana White. God, they're all in bed. This guy's a billionaire. They're all in bed together. They're all in bed together.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they're all here to screw us.
We are 9 days away from the most important election of my lifetime. Stakes have never been higher, and the choice has never been clearer. President Trump and I have been friends for 25 years. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. He is the most resilient, hardest working human being that I've ever met in my life. I know he's a great leader. This is not my opinion, not my hope. He's proven he can build the strongest economy in American history. He's proven he can secure our borders and keep our nation safe. He's proven to be the strong leader allies and adversaries alike must respect. He's proven he loves this country so much, he's literally put his life on the line for it. What is the other candidate proven? She can get your party's nomination without even facing voters. What else? What else can she offer the American people other than vague promises and no plan? She talks a lot about the need for change and her hope for the future. Hope and change. Does that sound familiar? She can use the old Obama playbook, but she's not Obama, and she is no agent of change. She is the sitting vice president of the United States right now. What she hopes is voters will focus on the future because she doesn't want us looking at the last 4 years to see what we really need to change. We need change from sky-high inflation. According to Yahoo Finance, the cost of groceries is up over 25% during the Biden-Harris administration. Food is unaffordable for most Americans. That has to change. We need change from wide open borders. BBC News reports illegal immigration reached record levels since they took office, with an estimated 10 million border crossings. That's a 300% increase compared to the Trump administration, and that's not including the unknown millions who cross undetected. That is the record of the other candidate, the border czar of the Biden administration. We need change from weak foreign policy. According to the Institute for Economics and Peace, a nonpartisan think tank, think about this, there are more active armed conflicts now than any time since World War II. Weakness from the Biden-Harris administration has invited aggression and conflicts around the globe. When President Trump was our commander-in-chief, the world was a much more peaceful place. J.D. Vance touched on this, but I want to hit it again. Vice President Harris was asked recently by the objective journalists of The View if there's anything she would have done differently than Biden over the past 4 years. And again, her answer was, there is not a thing that comes to mind. So, don't take my word for it, take hers. She will not change a thing. Hope is nice, but hope is not a plan. Change is needed, but change won't come from the status quo. And she is the
Excuse me, guys.
status
Sorry
quo.
about that.
If you want real change, you'll vote for proven leadership. If you want to return to economic prosperity, border security, and global stability, you'll vote for the one candidate who's proven he can deliver all of that. My fellow Americans,
Yeah, he's
if
licking
you
his lips
want
a
what's
lot.
best for your family and this country, you're going to vote Donald J. Trump as the 47th president of the United States. Thank you, New York. Have a good night.
All right, I'm going to mute this as they start the video or start the music. This person says Dana White is a great guy. You people are so salty. How do you know what kind of guy Dana White? You don't know. Even if you personally knew him and you were his friend, you're not with him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have no idea how good of a guy Dana White is, or Joe Rogan, or Donald Trump, or Kamala Harris. You have no idea how wicked they are or how good they are. But you can judge by what they're trying to push and what they're trying to propagate and what they're trying to peddle. You can judge them by that objective metric. It kills me when people say, no, Donald Trump is a great guy. Look how giving he is. You know, there's a lot of philanthropists that give a great deal of their money away, like John Paul Getty, but they're really, really bad people. You think Bill Gates is a good person? He's a philanthropist. You think he's a good person? You don't know him. Even his family doesn't know him.
Hello, New York!
What are they peddling? The lie of politics. I don't want a ruler.
I mean, it was not on my bucket list, okay? People like me do not get to play Madison Square Garden. This place rocks. All right, most of you in New York, maybe you know my story. My company is called Cantor Fitzgerald.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we were located on the 101st to the 105th floors of the World Trade Center.
Whoa, my goodness.
I get to be here today because I was taking my son Kyle to his first day of kindergarten that morning, 23 years ago.
Just happened to not be there,
I
eh?
lost 658 of my friends and colleagues. I had 960.
Oh
who
my
worked in New York
goodness.
that day, and we lost 658 people.
Oh. Guess who else wasn't there that
And we
day?
rebuilt that company
Larry
to
Silverstein.
take care of the families of those that I lost.
This is this is wild. This is freaking wild.
So we took care of those families. Each of my employees, they took 25% of their salaries and they gave it to the families of the people we lost, because that's what New Yorkers do. And we gave those families $180 million.
How many commentators are commenting on this? Come on. Come on.
So the first thing, we must elect Donald J. Trump president, because we must crush jihad.
What the frick? What the hell? How about the jihad of the Federal Reserve and the IRS? Do we need to crush that?
I love this city. I love this city. And Donald Trump loves this city no matter how crappy they treat him. He is back because he loves you and he loves this city. We all say, make America great again. But let's just go over for a minute what that means, because we all say it as a slogan. When was America great? At the turn of the century, our economy was rocking. This is 1900, 125 years ago. We had no income tax. And all we had was tariffs.
Oh God, here we
All
go.
we had was tariffs.
Selling the freaking tariffs.
And we had so much money
oh God.
that we had the greatest businessmen of America get together to try to figure out how to spend it. That's who we were then.
How to screw Americans.
But then we had World War I and we had World War II. And we felt we had a duty to rebuild the rest of the world. So here's what we did. We took down our protection. We took down our tariffs. And we turned instead and we taxed Americans so that we could export the power of our economy and save the rest of the world, which we did. Now let me ask you a question.
What the heck is this?
What decade should that have ended? Should it have ended in the 80s, the 90s, 2000? What in the world are we doing? We're letting the rest of the world eat our lunch. And it is time to make America great again.
Then get rid of the Keynesians. How about that? Not even going to talk about the Federal Reserve. Guarantee you. The cancer in
All
America.
right. What does America first mean? We all say America first. What does America first mean? American citizens employed first. NAFTA. Bill Clinton's favorite I hate Michigan move. Open the border, take all car manufacturing and move it to Mexico and screw over everyone in America who works in the auto industry. We don't make cars here. I mean, they make our cars in China and ship them here.
We are
It's
watching.
got to end.
We are
So,
watching
when he says
WWE.
America first, let's be crystal clear. He is saying employ American citizens first. Okay. The Harris-Biden administration
Keynes is a clown.
has set us up with a $6.5 trillion spending budget on our taxes of $4.5 trillion as they screw our children's future to the wall.
What's up, overpriced salami?
We lose $2 trillion this year, $2 trillion. And Donald Trump is going to build the greatest team to ever walk into government, and we are going to balance our budget.
Why didn't he do it the first time? Oh my God. There's no indication that Donald Trump is interested in doing that, or he would have done it. Oh my God.
And when we balance our budget, the world is going to feel what it feels like to unleash the full power of the United States economy and its amazing workforce.
This guy should be in tights with sunglasses. He's going to feel the power,
Okay.
brother.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to introduce the co-founder with me of the Department of Government Efficiency,
Oh God, is this Elon Musk?
Doge,
The Department of
Madison Square Garden. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the greatest capitalist in the history of the United States of America, Elon
Look, he's
Musk.
going to do his thing again. Oh, we got it. You're not a capitalist when you're getting government subsidies and kickbacks to the tune of billions of dollars. Give me a freaking break. Come on, let's be honest, guys. There are conservatives actually taking this nut job and this WWE show seriously. Look at this.
All right.
I can't. I'll get a copyright strike if I played the music. So, Dark MAGA. I know. Yeah.
I'm not just MAGA. I'm dark Gothic MAGA.
Dark Gothic MAGA. Here we go. More hats to sell. Millions of
The energy in
dollars.
this room is incredible.
This is how easy it is to deceive people, guys. This gets under my skin right here.
What a great group of people.
All right, I've only got one question for you, and then I'm getting out of here because this is your stage. But we set up Doge.
Yes.
How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
Yeah!
Yes.
$2 trillion.
This is so
I mean, at the end of the day,
cringe.
you're being taxed. You're being taxed. All government spending is taxation. So whether it's
There
direct
you-
taxation
that's true.
or all government spending, it's either becomes inflation or it's direct taxation.
Including
Your
tariffs.
money is being wasted, and the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix that.
The Department of Government Efficiency will do the exact opposite of
We're
its
going
own
to get the
name.
government off your back and out of your pocketbook.
Through Operation Warp Speed, of course, and Space Force.
And America's just not just going to be great. America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing.
They're liars. They're such liars. Oh my, I'm so glad we're watching this. Wow, this is historic.
Now,
historic in a different way. Exactly. Government will save you from government. Don't worry. I'm going to be a part of the government, and I'm here to help.
You guys are awesome. Honestly, this is like.
Wow, this is just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of positive energy that America is all about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be watching.
USA.
Maybe we should be watching conservative podcasters reacting to this live stream. That would be interesting.
Now, I have.
I agree.
Something I want to ask you to do, though, because obviously we're somewhat preaching to the converted in this stadium, but there's a lot of people out there who need to vote for President Trump. Okay, so this is a real battle. This is a real election battle. So you need to get friends and family to vote. Make sure they vote. Vote early. This is important. We're going to be putting up a scorecard, okay? An early vote scorecard, state by state, county by county. What is the scorecard? Vote early. Vote now. Yeah.
He's the devil's champion, guys. The devil's champion.
Make the margin of victory so big that you know what can happen.
They told you he was the devil's champion. He operates as the devil's champion. Dark MAGA.
Massive, overwhelming sweep of every swing state, and even some of the states that people don't think are swing states. Massive, crushing victory. Get everyone, friends, family, people on the street. Put the signs up, put the hat on. Let's go.
Wow, increase those hat sales.
And with that, it is my honor to introduce the First Lady, Melania Trump.
What music are they going to play for Melania? Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I can't play the music. It will be taken down. So let's see. Melania Trump's coming up. She's going to be going to bat for her hubby. We'll see what this is crazy, guys. This is absolutely lunacy. And that people can't see through this. I don't even understand it. One of the biggest welfare recipients in American history is Elon Musk. And he works closely with NASA. As far as I know, I can't remember the last figure. It's somewhere around 63 to 65, maybe even $68 million a day that they steal from the American tax cattle just to keep NASA afloat. That people can't see this is world wrestling entertainment at its finest. I just don't even know what to say. I'm pretty much speechless. Man, yeah, presidents are employees of the 28 USC 300215A. The United States means federal corporations. Both the RNC and DNC are private corporations. They are not interested in the will of the voter. They are interested in the will of their candidate and who their candidate represents. Let's just get that straight right now. When you vote for Democrats, you're voting for Republicans. When you're voting for Donald Trump, you're voting for the people who own Kamala Harris as well. There is no difference. It's poop soup, turd sandwich, but they don't want you to know that.
Good evening, New York City. Hello, Madison Square Garden. Our hometown, where architectural symbols of strength, courage, and unity create a canvas for the world's undisputed capital of industry. Where titans of finance, fashion, and entertainment convene among an iconic range of superior design, structures, and artistic accomplishments.
Oh God, they don't even know what she just said and they're going to applaud.
And American ingenuity blossoms among determined citizens who race across city streets and between offices, striving for success. It is you who are the heartbeat of this great metropolis.
And by the way, I want you to know that Jeffrey Epstein and I and all these people hung around him and you guys are applauding for us.
Yet, New York City is unforgiving. In fact, our lives are complicated even during the best of times. And sadly, today, a declining quality of life coupled with economic instability makes it difficult for business to thrive. Love you too.
Oh God, the crowds are so easy to manipulate.
Crime is on the rise, while public safety diminishes, creating an environment where families with young children choose to relocate. And this story repeats itself from coast to coast across our nation. This is America. For generations, this town has produced America's most fearless leaders, whose mark changed the course of the world. New York City and America needs their magic back. A country of tomorrow that will shape our future and reset expectations for the generations. Envision a wonderful America where the seeds of security, prosperity, and health are sown once again for benefit of our families. Let us charge together with a shared vision that builds on American greatness. Let's seize this moment and create a country for tomorrow, the future that we deserve. And now, please welcome our next Commander-in-Chief, my husband, President Donald J. Trump.
Are they going to do? Oh, yeah. Lee Greenwood, come on. I'm not going to be able to play the Lee Greenwood song here. So Rocky Road says Elon is a phony. No CEO of any company would be allowed to pick a political side like this. His shareholders would be enraged and his board members. He doesn't run SpaceX, Tesla, or any of those companies. He's just a facade. Yeah, that could be. We do know. I like to stay with the objective. It could be that he is that. And so much more that we don't know, but we do know, what we do know is that he is one of the biggest welfare recipients. He does work with NASA. He does have Neuralink. He is trying to promote Tesla and green energy and all that. He does say the right things sometimes, but he also promotes the wrong things. And when you get involved in the WWE political dog and pony show, you have become demoralized. When they bring you to the point where you are voting for robbers and rulers to rule you, you have lost. And they want you to lose. What they want you to do is lose your soul. They want you to lose your virtue. Remember what, who was it? Patrick Henry, guard with jealous attention the public liberty, not the public safety, guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect anyone who comes near that precious jewel. Nothing will preserve it but downright force. And when you give up that force, you are ruined. It says the general dissolution of principles and morals will more surely overthrow the liberties of America than all the force of the common enemy. Even if the whole nation comes against you, you cannot fall unless you lose your virtue. Even if you die, at least hold on to your virtue. When you vote, you've let it go. That's how important it is. And somebody had mentioned in the room, the bump stock bans aren't even an issue, but they came out of the heart of the tyrant that people are demoralizing themselves to vote for. You want to dehumanize yourself? You want to set up an example of weakness and cowardice to the rest of your family? Then vote for a political psychopath, a parasitic political psychopath like Kamala Harris or Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Barack Obama. It's so important for you to get out the vote, to vote, but that they got Lee Greenwood's actually standing there singing. This isn't a soundtrack. It's how ironic to sing that song. I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free, even though the Zio International Banking Cartel owns the issuance and value of our currency, which means they literally own your time and your labor. They own the prices of everything you will ever purchase, anything that you will ever sell. If they own that, they have complete control. Please understand this. That's why, let's see, let me show you. Let's see. That's why you got Donald Trump hosting the live rally. You got Alex Jones. There's 2.1 million. That's why all these people flock to these things right here. Styx, Hex, and Hammer. All of them are sold out. They have demoralized themselves to such a point that they have submitted themselves on the altar of politics. It's very important for them to get you to do that, because then they can drop bombs with your consent. Then they can raise taxes with your consent. Then they can tariff businesses and the regular average American who's already struggling and suffering. That's how important this is. That's how important voting is. That's why we're watching this. That's why we're going through it.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much to a very popular former First Lady, hopefully First Lady again. And I just want to say a very big hello to a special place, New York, and to an incredible arena, Madison Square Garden. Incredible.
Yeah, exactly. The Great Delusion. More than legitimizing the system, it legitimizes the psychopaths who run the system.
10 times you take a look at outside what's going on all the way down to the river, the beautiful, beautiful Hudson River. They're outside watching this now at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They've never had it. And I want to thank Jim Dolan. He's been incredible. He's been just incredible. The job they've done. Thank you. But I'm thrilled to be back in the city I love, and thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. You're with me. We're all together. We've always been together.
God, these snakes.
And
I
I'd
hate
like to
them.
begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Oh my God.
I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country.
It's a lie. He can't control any
and I
of
will
this.
bring back the American dream. We need the American dream to come back home. Our country will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before.
This is a mega church. The American dream, because you got to be asleep to believe
This
it.
election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
He picked Steve Mnuchin as the Treasury Secretary, and he's going to talk about
achieve
gross
success that no one can imagine.
incompetence.
We
of
will
failure.
have the strongest economy, the most secure borders, the safest cities, the most powerful military,
Oh, God.
the best trade deals, and we will dominate the frontiers of science, medicine, business, technology, and space. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. I'm asking you to dream big again. We're going to dream big again. We haven't been dreaming big at all. This will be America's new golden age.
Oh, God.
It's going to happen quickly, too. Very
Golden
quickly.
age.
Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands.
They always say that.
Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've done a terrible job, that crooked Joe Biden has done a terrible job. You've destroyed our country. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. Get out. You're fired.
He knows how to push the buttons, and they're so easy to push over, too. Applause line.
Early voting is underway in every swing state, and we are setting all-time records. They're voting, I tell you what. I don't want to talk about it, but we have to keep it going. You got to get out and vote. We just have to get out. And who would have thought this was going to happen? We're leading in every swing state.
That's what I wrote down, Katie. Biometric entry exit visa tracking system on land.
But it doesn't mean a thing. It only means how are we doing at the end. So
On sea.
we have 9 days from now, and we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to win back the beautiful White House.
And
And
in
we're
the
going
air.
to make America great again, and it's going to happen fast.
KCB, are you serious?
Thank you.
Some things just make me laugh, man. It's shake my head and go, what the frick is going on here?
In less than 4 years,
Wake me up.
Kamala Harris has shattered our middle class. She cast the deciding votes that launched the worst inflation in the history of our country. She cost the typical American family over $3,000 in a short period, but over $30,000 over the last 3 years. She killed 50,000 manufacturing jobs this year alone. Now Kamala wants to raise the typical family taxes by nearly $3,000 a year and impose a 33% tax hike on all domestic production. If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, our economy can never recover. If I win, we will quickly build the greatest economy in the history of the world. Which is what we had in our last term. We will rapidly defeat inflation, and we will very simply make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable. I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors.
I think there's 9 days before the selection day.
And I'm announcing a new policy today that I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. It's about time that they were recognized, right?
tax credit. Just get rid of all taxes.
They add so much to our country and are never spoken of, ever, 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 but they're going to be spoken of now. Thank you all very much. I'll also make interest on car loans fully tax deductible, but only for cars made in America. Have to be made in America. And we will achieve energy independence, and we will do something. We want it so badly. We're going to do something. You know what we're going to do? Front row Joes. You know, I got front row Joes here. I got
This guy's
the
always there.
ladies from North Carolina, number 249.
The brick
This
dude
is
is
the
always
200, and you look so beautiful. We have a lot of people. They followed us, but we're going to do something. The ladies can tell you what we're going to do. We're going to drill a baby drill. And I will terminate the Green New Scam, and we'll cut your energy prices in half, 50%, within 1 year from January 20th.
All
Is the
lies.
fake news hearing that? Whoa!
Bunch of
Look how
lies.
much. Wow, that's a lot of fake news. That is a lot of fake news. Look at that. Wow.
That's how easy it is to manipulate a crowd.
Speaker, I think that's a record. That is a lot of fakers back there. To bring back millions of jobs, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet. Remember this, if we keep going like this, we won't have the biggest and the best. We won't have a market, we won't have a country. But only for those who make their product here in the USA and hire American workers for the job. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a very stiff tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our now protected companies. We're going to protect our companies. They're not leaving anymore. They're not leaving anymore. We're also going to pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, meaning if China or any other country charges us 100 or 200% tax or tariff, we will then charge them a 100 or 200% tax or tariff. It's called an eye for an eye.
People don't even understand
And
economics.
I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will
Focusing
protect
in on
our borders.
Elon Musk.
I will protect our great
And his
families, and I will
mom.
protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. As we rescue our economy, I will also restore our borders. There's never been anything like it. It's bigger than inflation. It's bigger than the economy. What they're doing to our country, they're allowing criminals from all over the world to enter our country. Over the past 4 years, Kamala Harris has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. She has violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of migrant gangs who are waging a campaign of violence and terror against our citizens. There has never been anything like it anywhere in the world for any country. Kamala has imported criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions from all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo. A lot of people are coming from the Congo prisons. They're coming from all over the world. Over the last month, 181 countries violated our laws. And she has resettled them into your communities to prey upon innocent American citizens. But the day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion of our country ends and the restoration of our country begins. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Nice group of people. They got together in prison, the worst prison in the world, they say. It's called Tren de Aragua. And that is taking over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent killing spree all over America, especially in Aurora, Colorado, where we have a governor who's petrified of them, and maybe he should be. But now they've even taken over Times Square. Take a look.
Orders, deadly consequences.
Oh, movie night.
Crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on
Everybody
cities
loves
across
movie
America.
night.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about lack of crime, this is what they're talking about.
San Antonio, Texas, just one of the latest cities to have apartment complexes taken over by members of the Venezuelan gang.
Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang member.
No, I don't play that game, Ellie. But you did say Trump 2024, which is red flag law 2024, Operation Warp Speed 2024, $6.2 trillion in banker / big pharma debt 2024. You know, I love Henry Kissinger and I got a lot of respect for Bill and Hillary Clinton 2024. When you're saying Trump 2024, you're saying all of those things. You're saying screw America 2024. He screwed America with that $6.2 trillion stimulus package.
On top of her, later strangled Jocelyn to death, and then tied up her hands and feet.
Court documents suggest.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Ellie. I mean, people are
robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
The man.
People are where they are, you know. This is just a propaganda film. We all know that Kamala Harris is evil, but she's no more evil than Donald Trump because they're just puppets. They're just puppets on a banker hand.
Gang leader who is wanted for 23 murders. He was arrested by Border Patrol near Roma, Texas.
You guys stay tuned because I'll be putting out the StreamYard link. So if you guys want to call in and talk about this, we can later.
That's who we're allowing into our country.
Yeah, it's fear mongering.
We're not going to have a country any longer.
What's up, Delete
That's who
Laws?
we're allowing it.
I love you, Ellie. I'm not trying to make you look bad. I thought you were joking with the 2020 Trump 2024, but I guess not.
The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. Not going to be happening. Not going to be happening. November 5th, 2024, 9 days from now, will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation Day. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history to get the criminals out. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. We're going to kick them the hell out of our country as fast as possible.
Just to let you guys know, Bacchus Jamil is being very sarcastic. He's one of us, but he plays the other side just to
and other savage
be
gangs
sarcastic.
like MS-13, which is equally vicious. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. That's how far back. That's
ironically,
when they had law and order. They had
like
some
the Alien and
tough ones.
Sedition Act.
Think of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
It was the Alien and
Mr.
Sedition.
Speaker, get ready.
Holy cow. I can't
to
believe you said
target
that.
and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And there are lots of them. We don't have the same country anymore. You know that. And you know, when you look at the polls and they say about the economy and they have all these different things, the worst nightmare that we're facing is what they've done to us on our borders. We had the safest border in the world. In fact, there's a chart, which I hope they have, because I didn't tell them I wanted it, but there's a chart that I love very much because I wouldn't be here without it.
Oh God, he's gonna push it too. Everybody's pushing the magic bullet theory. Here we go. Fight,
I'm
fight,
in
fight.
love with it.
I bet you there's a say fight, fight, fight.
Even if it had bad numbers, I would have loved that chart, but it doesn't. It has great numbers. And if you look at the arrow on the bottom, you'll see that was the day I left office. That was the lowest illegal immigration that we've ever had in recorded history, the recorded history of our country. And then look at it. It was like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at what happens. Look at what happened after that. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
Oh, I wonder if he's gonna do the blanket federalized qualified immunity for all cops. That would spell disaster for America. Oh God.
Under Kamala, America is a sanctuary for criminals and for illegal aliens that are in our country illegally. I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States.
Package Mill says our cops are heroes.
Kamala's gross incompetence disqualifies her from being president of the United States of America. She is grossly incompetent. All you have to do is look at her interviews, look at what she did the other night on fake news, CNN. Just take a look.
Me too, Keno.
She couldn't answer a question. She's unfit for office. Everyone knows it. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. Everyone knows she is a very low IQ individual. From humiliating our country in Afghanistan to the war in Ukraine, to the nightmare on our border, to her inflation catastrophe, all done in conjunction with Sleepy Joe. But he was largely sleeping, wasn't he? After 4 o'clock, it's time to go to bed. To his and her egregious hurricane response, the worst response in North Carolina and other states since Katrina, but I think it was even worse than Katrina. They haven't even responded in North Carolina. They haven't even responded. There's nobody. They don't see any FEMA. You know why? They spent their money on bringing in illegal migrants. So they didn't have money for Georgia and North Carolina and Alabama and Tennessee and Florida and South Carolina. They didn't have any money for them. They spent all of their money on bringing in illegal immigrants and flying them in by beautiful jet planes. They flew in. We just found that about a year and a half ago. Remember, we said, what's going on? Those planes, there are a lot of planes going over there. What are they? They would fly them into the middle of our country, our beautiful, beautiful country. And you know what happened? You take a look at Springfield, Ohio. Think of this.
That's a good question,
Think of this. Where 30,000 illegal migrants were put into a town of 50,000 people. No place can withstand that. Or take a look at Aurora in Colorado. Colorado is going to vote for us. You know why? Typically, they go a little bit the other way. Of course, with their voting system, I'm not so sure about that. But you know why? Because they tried to throw the leading candidate of both parties, meaning me. I was leading both parties off the ballot. And the people of Colorado including Democrats, are very angry about it. They are a threat to democracy, to use their term.
Threat to democracy.
Isn't it
That's
nice to have somebody that's your president that doesn't need a teleprompter? We haven't been on teleprompter for a long time.
that's what we need.
I
We
haven't
need
been
a
on this teleprompter.
substantial threat to democracy.
You saw the other day where Kamala got a little stuck on the teleprompter, went a little bad. It stopped on her. You have to be, you know, if you're a politician, you have to be able to handle that. Remember, you have to do the weave. He says, you got to do more than the weave.
Righteous people don't defend
But it
democracy.
happens a
by the
lot
way,
as a politician. It happens. I mean, we have so many politicians here, great ones, really great. Some are not so good, but great ones. And when Newt, or when the speaker, or when Tommy Tuberville, who's here someplace, the great senator from Alabama, or when any one of our literally 75, by the way, should I introduce all of them by name? I should.
yeah.
Should
Don't forget to hit thumbs up, guys. We only got 171 thumbs
Yes.
up.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Not
Speaker,
a
should
thumbs
I?
up for
I don't
Trump.
know. Will they be angry? Yeah, they will. It's a lot of introducing, right? Let's keep going with the speech, huh? But you know, when you have when you're in this profession, I have a friend, he wanted to come in. I said, you like speaking? Well, I do, but I have a great fear of speaking. I said, don't be a politician. If you have a fear of speaking, don't be a politician. But one thing you have to know is that no matter how good your people are that operate this machinery, it's going to break. And you're going to be out there all by yourself a lot. And you got to be able to do so. 3 weeks ago, she was saying there was only 32 days left, right? And she's reading it like, there's 32 days. And it stopped. And she went, there's 32 days. 32. 32. And I was watching. I said, this isn't pretty. 32. She was gone. And then, damn it, it kicked back on. She was gone. We've had it. Happens a lot. And don't forget, you got all those people back there. Now, they don't talk about her, but if that ever happened, it happens all the time. I was campaigning in Ohio for a very, very Bernie Moreno. He's doing a good job. I think he's maybe going to win in Ohio. The problem he's got, his opponent, Brown, Sherrod Brown, he's taking ads in like he's my best friend. He never votes for me. He's not my best friend. Ohio's been very friendly to Trump. We win it all the time by a landslide, but the opponent is taking ads. I got 4 of them. I think we have 4 of them, right? They're taking ads. All of a sudden, they love Trump. We agree with Trump on tariffs. We agree with Trump on the border. We love Trump. And they're Democrats. They have friends calling up. Did they switch to the Republican Party? But it happened with Bernie Moreno. I was in Ohio to try and get him over the initial primary hump. And it was 45-mile-an-hour winds, and these suckers were blowing like, you ever try reading a teleprompter where it's moving about 2 feet in each? But I didn't have to worry about that because even worse, they ended up blowing off the stage a lot of it. So I'm now in the first sentence, and I got 28,000 people and millions of people watching on television. I got no teleprompter. And did I do a good job, Mr. Speaker? And he won. And he won, huh? Thank you, Matt. And he won. And so you're up there all alone. We don't go 32, 32, 32. Oh, my God, whatever. Kamala Harris is a train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. To make her president would be a gamble with the lives of millions and millions of people.
That is funny,
She would
Chad.
get us into World War III. We're very close to World War III. If you don't have a smart president, if you don't have a president that gets it, if you don't have a president that is respected by the other side, and they did respect us 4 years ago, they really respected us.
Fear.
Iran was broke. They had no money. Russia wouldn't have played with us at all. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine. Israel, October 7th, would never, ever have happened. Would have never have happened. All those
World War III
all
talk.
those people would be alive right now. Those people that were killed on that horrible day. But if you don't have a president that gets it, you know what else you wouldn't have had? You wouldn't have had that the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, in my opinion, Afghanistan, the way they, not that they got out, we were getting out, but we were going to get out with dignity and strength. We got out, an embarrassment, the likes of which this country has never suffered. And because of that, Putin looked at us and they probably figured we were a paper tiger, and he went into Ukraine, and the rest is history. It would have never happened with us. And you wouldn't have had any inflation. You know, we had the best economy, but we had no inflation. And inflation has destroyed a lot of seniors on fixed income, and a lot of people in this room have been virtually destroyed by inflation. You wouldn't have had inflation. They screwed up our energy, and it went up so much. And then things like the Green New Scam, which is just a scam, just a complete scam.
I don't know.
They actually admitted that, if you think about it. But she would get us into World War III because she's incompetent, can't do the job, unfit for it. And then all of your sons and daughters will end up getting a little notice. They'll say, Mom, Dad, what is this little green piece of paper? Ay, 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 darling, that's a draft notice. They're drafting you to go and fight in some country that I've never heard this country. I've never heard of this country before. Oh, no.
Oh, did they take that comment down?
I don't want my baby to be killed. What they did in
Yeah, let me just say, you got to be real careful with the comments in the chat or even under a video, because YouTube will flag you, and they could literally take your, if you're linked to a channel, your channel could completely be taken down because of one comment. I've already heard about it happening before. I've seen it happen.
incompetent people, but we don't want your sons and daughters to get a little draft notice and you have to explain to them what it means. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war. Remember Crooked Hillary?
Dropped 46 bombs a day, though. Who were those hitting?
Remember Crooked Hillary Clinton? Crooked Hillary, oh, she was a beauty. During one of our many debates, she said, look at him, listen to him. He's going to start a war. Listen to his rhetoric. He's going to start a war. I said, no, no, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. 82 years, other than I finished off ISIS, but that was already started. We had stupid generals like Milley and Mattis, weak, stupid people. But fear not, we have great generals, just not the ones that you see on television all the time. And we wiped them out very quickly. It was going to take 5 years. Mattis said it would take 5 years, and I'm not sure we could do it. It took us like 4 weeks. We have great generals. We have the greatest military in the world. Just a lot of people don't know that. And everybody knows it, but, you know, I saw the other day a report that they issued that if we end up in a war with China, we cannot win. We're not strong enough. So I said to myself, assuming that's true, how stupid are you to put out a report like that? How stupid. Why would you put out a report? Then they'll say, oh, Trump is not truthful. No, I'm smart. You don't put out reports like that. And it's not true. We would kick their ass. It's
smart.
Not true.
Smart people don't say they're smart. It's so funny. Chanting is so childish.
Laughing at her. They want her to win so badly. Oh, they don't want Trump. They don't want Trump. I've made this position a very dangerous one because of that. That's why. It's a very dangerous. You know, if you drive a race car, you have 1/10 of 1% chance of dying. If you ride the bulls, I think the bulls are pretty nasty, right? You have about the same 1/10 of 1% of dying. If you become president of the United States, you got a hell of a shot at dying.
Put a one in the room if you want to do a call in at the end of
I never knew that
this.
when I ran. I never thought about it, but here we are. Here we are. And I'm okay with it. And I would rather be here than any place in the world. It's called a very dangerous profession. But if we win, our enemies won't be laughing anymore. They're not going to be laughing. And you know what? The truth is, I got along with all of them. I got along with Putin. Ukraine was the apple of his eye, but I said, Vladimir, don't go in. Remember, I ended the pipeline in Europe. I ended the pipeline in Europe. And then when Biden came in, he approved it. But he ended the Keystone pipeline, the one in America. So he got it a little mixed up, didn't he, huh? Nord Stream 2, I said, we're ending Nord Stream 2. Everybody said, what is Nord Stream 2? I said, that's the massive Russian pipeline where they're going to make a fortune, where they're going to Germany and all countries in Europe. So I said, you mean we're fighting to help them with NATO and spending all of that money, and they're paying the person and the group that we're fighting billions of dollars a month? What the hell are we doing? I ended it. It was dead. And Biden came along and he approved it. Weak. Look, 30 years ago, he was not considered smart either. So now he's really not smart. If we win, America will be respected, and even if it's necessary, feared again. It's not the worst word. On issue after issue, Kamala broke it, but I will fix it. We're going to fix it. But we're just not running against Kamala. I think a lot of our politicians here tonight know this. She means nothing. She's purely a vessel. That's all she is. When you see her up there talking about the grass on my front lawn, I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood and I had grass on my front lawn. Yeah, but we're asking, what would you do to fix the country?
I want to talk.
Why didn't you do it? You had almost 4 years. Why didn't you do this stuff? Now she's,
That is a legitimate question. I mean, if you're going to answer it under the sun or ask it under the sun.
Told you about from the different states.
I want to hear from Trump voters tonight if we go live on the StreamYard link.
She's just like, she's really just like, in many ways, crooked Joe Biden. And she never said.
Put a 1 in the room if you're voting for Trump. A 1 in the room if you're voting for Trump. No shame. I just want to talk to you.
We're talking about the life of the most important country in the world. We need very smart people.
Well, maybe there is shame.
Against something far bigger than Joe or Kamala, and far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. They're just vessels. In fact, they're perfect vessels because they'll never give them a hard time. They'll do whatever they want. I know many of them. It's just this amorphous group of people. But they're smart and they're vicious. And we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting. These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open border policies, record-setting inflation, Green New scam, and everything else that they're doing. But we're not going to let it happen any longer. We're going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. It's going to be the biggest victory in history.
God, that would never happen.
America great again, everybody.
That would never happen.
On top of it all, Kamala says she would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden, which is totally disqualifying. And you have to remember this. All of the mistakes he made, and you know what maybe is the worst, but they're all so bad. Think of this. 325,000 children are missing, dead, sex slaves or slaves. They came through the open border and they're gone. Their parents will most likely never see them again, almost any of them. Think of the number, 325,000 children are missing or dead. Take a look at this, please.
Would you have done something differently than
More
President
propaganda.
Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers. Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrants
If I was ever on Joe Rogan, I would want Eddie Bravo to also be there.
national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities saying Train Day Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
Wow. Propaganda.
So if you want to end this disaster, you got to get out and vote. Just go out and vote.
It's so important to vote.
We got to get out. We have to put it away. We're close. We're so close.
It's so important.
Usually the Republicans are losing in the first week in the early voting. And we did something that has not been done. I don't think, Speaker, it's been done yet, but it's been done for us. We're leading every one of the swing states, all 7 of them. So we usually get them from behind because Republicans like to vote on a thing called Election Day. You know, in the old days, we had election days. Today we have election periods. They go on forever. And last time they went beyond and start early, start late, do whatever the hell you want. You know, we got more votes in 2020 than any sitting president in history by millions. Okay. And we did great, obviously, in 2016 we won, but we did much better in 2020. But everything, nothing compares to what's happening. I mean, you have tens of thousands of people standing outside watching us on a television, and we love you out there. We love you. They're watching. But both of those great races, both of them don't compare to what's happening now. In Florida, we took a massive lead, and all of these places. I mean, there's something happening that's really good. There's something happening that's really good, but let's close it out. Pretend you're 1 point down. Would everybody pretend? Let me just do a poll. Who has already voted? Who is going to vote? Good. That's what I like. That would be better than the other way if you've already voted. So I'd say 16, 17, maybe 20%. And we're leading. And most of you haven't voted, but you promise you're going to vote. Everybody promise? Promise, promise, promise.
Wow, that makes me want to do the exact
lot of
opposite.
people
That
in
alone.
here.
That alone.
Well, the beauty is that, you know, a Republican likes to vote late, and they like to vote and make sure their vote's in the box, right? They want to vote. They just feel better about it. And so we had a lot of people voting, but really that's the same. I do it in every event. I say, who's voted? The last 3 events. Last night I was at Penn State, a great place. I actually met, this is an amazing, the national championship wrestling team. They won Penn State won the national championship, but listen to this. 11 out of the last 13 years, even Jim Jordan would be impressed by that. You know, Jim Jordan is a great guy. He's a great wrestler.
Yeah, that's cool, Anthony. We'll talk.
See it by the way he acts. He's not afraid of anything, right? And I looked at those guys and they're rough as hell. I said, you may be the only people that can take Tren de Aragua in a fight. And it won't even be that easy for them. They're tough
Exactly,
people.
Solar Bear.
But it was great to meet that team, and those great champions, amazing, really great champions. And we were packed at Penn State. We were packed. No matter where we go, we're packed. No matter where we go, because there's something happening.
I know they got to shake it up.
And there's something happening is they want to take back their country. People want to take back their country. You love the country. I love the country. We want to take it back. I could be right now on the most beautiful beach in the world. I could be at Turnberry in Scotland. I own it. I could be anywhere. I got that greatest. I don't have to be here, but I would much rather be at Madison Square Garden with you. So we're thrilled to be joined today by an incredible group of patriots who are going to help us save our country, including our next Vice President, J.D. Vance. And a man who was so incredible. Last week, I watched that rocket ship come down. I've never seen it.
Oh, there's Elon Musk.
I told this story last night. I was on the phone with a very, very important person, and I'm talking to him, and I'm watching the television while I'm talking to this guy's boring as hell. And I said, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm looking at the screen, and I see this rocket pouring the fire, the flames. It's all over the place. It was white a week ago, and now it's pitch black from the burning coming down at 10,000 miles an hour. It's coming down at a low. There he is. There is my Eli. He's that great. You know what he was doing for the last week? Campaigning in Pennsylvania. He's a sweetheart, too.
Wow.
So I'm talking to this guy, very important guy, big guy, and I have to tell him.
They're really trying to humanize psychopaths here. Humanizing psychopaths.
It was pure, beautiful white when it left, but it's burned from the fire and the flame, and it is. And now I see it coming down like this, and it's like 20 stories tall or something. It's massive, and it's coming down. And I say to the guy, "Hey, do me a favor. Will you hold on a minute? Just hold on. I'll talk to you." This is like one of the most important people. I'm watching. Said, "Just hold on." I put the phone down. By the way, I never picked it up again. You know what these people are going to say? He's cognitively impaired. He's cognitively impaired. Oh, you don't think so? They're the worst. They are the worst. So I put it down, and I'm watching this rocket, and I see the engines. I say, oh, it's going to crash. No, because it was looking right next to gantry. I guess they call it the gantry, whatever the hell they call it, the launching pad. And it's coming down at a bad angle, Elon. I wasn't happy, and I was a little worried. You might have been worried, too. I said, oh, no, it's not going to be good. And then all of a sudden, I saw the flame on the bottom left, and it was ripping. The flame was pouring out of that sucker, and it straightened it out like this. And it came down, and it landed, and then it's two of these big, beautiful arms grabbed it, and they held it tight. And
you guys do realize that the main goal of these evil people is to appear as though they're good. The main goal, if they were demons, they would want to appear as angels. This is the entire show. They want you to believe that they're good, that they're angels. They're here for your prosperity and for your goodwill, and nothing could be further from the truth.
I say, Elon, you're a genius. You are a genius. You are he is special. He is special. And you know what he wants more than anything else? For our country to be really well run, solidly run, to be run democratically, all the things that everybody in this room wants. And I mean, honestly, he left that pad and he went to Pennsylvania to campaign. Can you believe it?
Reminds me of a church service.
And I asked him a couple of questions. I said, Elon, let me ask you a question. Can Russia do that? No. Can China do that? No.
And we're all out of bubble gum.
Can anybody do that other than you? Nobody else can do it. Nobody else can do it. Pretty good. And he said, and they won't be able to for 10 years, you said, right? They won't be able to for 10 years. No, he's amazing. And he's a great guy, too. He really is. Got to remember him. This is a piece of work.
Look at him.
You know, we had a black hat, right? You saw him with a black hat at Butler. He was there, and it was beautiful. We had 101,000 people celebrating a great firefighter, a great guy, Corey. And Elon got up, and I didn't even know we made a black hat. I've never seen anybody wear it. I see the red hats all over the place, the white hats. I see all different, but I never saw black. But he liked the black. You know, he's a little different.
You like the black?
It's a black hat with black letters, okay? It's called understated. And I said, you like that hat? He said, I love that hat. I call it Dark MAGA. But you know that after that evening, that became our #1 best-selling hat for that week.
Of course it did.
Just put something on them now. You're great. And
course
thank
it
you
did.
very much. Thank you very much. It's great. Thank you.
Of course it made billions and millions.
And we also have somebody that is great. And look, we're not going to let him go too crazy, Elon, with the oil and gas stuff. And, you know, because Robert F. Kennedy cares more about human beings and health and the environment than anybody. And he's going to be absolutely having him.
That's my devil's champion if you want to know the truth about it.
And I'm going to let him go wild on health. I'm going to let him go wild on the food. I'm going to let him go wild on medicines.
Oh, yeah?
The only thing I don't think I'm going to let him even get near is the liquid gold that we have under our feet. I don't know, Elon, he might not like liquid gold. It's oil and gas, sometimes referred to as oil and gas. JD, I think we're going to have to keep him away from the oil and gas. What do you think, Howard? Yes? But where is Robert? He's around. He gave a beautiful speech. He's a great guy. He truly cares. I mean, he truly cares about this. And
he's just rambling. There's Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy. There's the Speaker of the House. There's Matt Gaetz. Maybe his, I don't know who that is. JD Vance. There's Elon Musk's mom. Elon Musk, Melania.
#1 best-selling. Go out and buy one of her. It's a great book. It's a great. You know what? I was nervous when I read.
God, it's just like church. It's like pass around the hat, pass around the basket. Let's make more money. We're selling shirts. We got CDs in the back.
Nothing wrong with selling products, but they're doing this off of the backs the people that they're exploiting and manipulating with their government propaganda garbage.
Certainly was #1. I guarantee you that. Thank
They
you,
write
great.
books. They write beautiful
And
books.
we have a fabulous, brilliant woman, top student at Yale Law School. They were both top students. They're going to have very smart kids. If you believe in that, I believe in it strongly. I would like to have their children because they are going to be smart. Yale Law School.
I'd like
top
to
of
have
the
their
class,
children.
Both of them. Usha Vance. Thank you, Usha, for being here. Thank you. Thank you very much. With their 2 beautiful children. And my children here, Don and Eric and Tiffany, and along with Lara, Kimberly and Michael, we have great people. We have Baron Homies watching. That Baron is watching. He's the king of the internet. He's the king of the internet. Oh, who was that? That's very nice. My sister Elizabeth is here. She's great. I don't know where she is, but she's great, and we love her. And Speaker Mike Johnson is here, and he's doing a great job. It's not easy when you have a majority of 3, but he's done a great job, and he's going to continue to do a great job, and we like him. He's a terrific person. I watched him just totally decapitate a fake reporter on NBC, Meet the Fake Press. What he did to her was, I think that probably she'll never be the same. Nobody would know. Look at him, such a nice looking guy, just that little beautiful face with the glasses. Got the little glasses. Everyone said, oh, he's so nice. He's such a nice person. He's not a nice person. He's not nice at all, right, Matt? But great job. We think he's great. And he's going to be around for a long time, I predict. We have a senator here who I love, Senator Tommy Tuberville. And he's from a great place, Alabama. I love Alabama.
God, Kenny, this guy
I'm
just
up in Alabama by 49 points. 49 points. We're up by a lot in a lot of different places, but it's a great place. And thank you, Tommy. And all of our other great congressmen. We have so many. If I ever named them, we're going to be up here a long time. So they're going to be angry. They won't speak to me for probably a month or so, but it'll calm down after that. Right, Matt Gaetz? It'll calm down. It'll calm down. But we have great, great people, and they're really doing a job, and we're going to turn this country around. You know, with me, we got to get the congressmen elected, and we got to get the senators elected, because we can take the Senate pretty easily. And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over. I also want to thank Jim Dolan and everyone at Madison Square Garden for an unbelievable, this is unbelievable. I've watched the Knicks and Rangers here, and what a location. You know, they tried to talk Jim out of this location. We're going to move you to the river. We're going to move you all over the place. And he's tough. He said, I don't know. They offered him all sorts of money. We're going to move Madison. It's a very prime location. We're going to move it to the river.
I don't know if he's going to say anything else
right on
that's
top
even
of
worth
every train
looking at.
hub in it's like the world or something right here. And he didn't like it that much, but he was offered a lot. Man, did he make a good decision. That would have been peanuts compared to the value. But there's no place like Madison Square Garden. Thank you very much to Jim and all of you people.
You know what might be interesting?
But here are the facts.
Oh, here we go.
Kamala
Facts.
Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. She destroyed our economy.
He's back on
She
the
was an original creator of Defund the Police. Can you believe it? She
teleprompter.
was one of the originals for Defund the Police. And anybody who wants to defund our great police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States, because that's where her thinking is. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE, you know.
All right, tell you what, put a no in the room. No, just put a done. Put done in the room if you're done with this. We got 984 from all social media platforms, about 300. I can't see. Let's see. Yeah, about 300 on YouTube. Put a done in the room, and if I get, I don't know, 100 dones, we'll be done with this guy. Just put done. Just one word, done.
Perfect.
If there's 100 dones, I'll do it, because that's like 30% of the YouTube audience.
MS-13, they're animals. And you know who took care of it for us? ICE. ICE, they had no problem.
We're putting done in the room if you're done with Donald Trump and you want to get into the
Kamala wants to
call-in segment.
defund ICE.
Yeah, it's very annoying.
Not defunding
So boring.
ICE, right? You're not defunding ICE. We're not even going to think about it. She's never going to get the chance. There's no way she becomes president.
Tons.
There's no way. Radical left lunatic who destroyed San Francisco.
I think everybody's pretty much done. Let's see what Salty Cracker's saying here.
Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen.
I think
looks like he's been in a motherfucking microwave.
I think Salty Cracker is pro-Trump. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know much about him. I know people have said that he is. I do know that when I watch his broadcasts, he makes bank on is it called Rumbles? I don't know what it is, but people just toss him the money because that's what happens when you take a left or a right position on the statist road. He's a one-sided thinker. Let's just watch like 2 minutes.
Language experts chime in over here. This fucking coos right here has never ever faced an actual opposition. She is so used to screaming, "I'm black, I'm black, bitches."
Oh, I think actually he only broadcasts on Rumble because I don't think he live streams on YouTube anymore. I could be wrong. All right, so let's go to he is totally pro-Trump. Doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so I'm gonna throw down the invite link so you guys can come on board. Here's the link. Here's the link. I would like to start off just by talking to people who are going to be voting for Donald Trump. If you're voting for Donald Trump, I want to talk to you. I'm not here to I'm not here to belittle anybody. I just want to hear your perspective. So if I can get your perspective on Donald Trump, if you are indeed voting for him. Let's see, let me see. Let me put the link in the chat again. I didn't even see it appear. Okay, there it goes. So that's the link. If you are voting for Trump, oh, Anthony, I know he's voting for Trump. Anthony, it sounds like you're driving, man. Are you driving? Okay, there goes Anthony. Salty Cracker comes to YouTube to get traffic, money on other platforms. He plays the Trump is God side of things, and that's his shtick. Does he actually believe it? Ricky, are you voting for Donald Trump?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Thank God you're there, Brian, and thank God you do what you do. Only voice of reason.
How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Hold on, let me just shut the stream off.
There's the link, guys, if you guys want to be a part of the chat. Okay, you know what? Even whether you're voting for Donald Trump or not, we'll talk to everybody. Just I want to hear your perspective. Whether you agree or disagree with me, whether you have criticism or whatever, let's go ahead and talk.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Brian, just appreciate everything you do, and my God, going out to those Trump rallies and spreading the truth, and people just don't want to hear it.
I know. I mean, but why do you think they don't?
Because they have, they're so sick and tired of the way the country's being run right now, and they need a savior.
I know, but like, what brings an adult to that point? Is it like a religious thing where they have this deep-seated faith that's really based on nothing and it makes them feel good? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, definitely has something to do with emotions and, pulling at your emotional heartstrings. I mean, that's what we've seen over the last couple of years with every story that you could think of.
Yeah. And I mean, I think people need to start taking propaganda more seriously because we all are propagandized to some level, to some degree. But every single one of us, it's just a marketing campaign, whether it's for religion or Diet Coke or for politics, and people really easily fall prey to it, especially in this.
But if you don't mind me asking you, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but
no, go
how
ahead.
many subscribers did you lose?
You mean in my original channels?
Yeah, because I saw that you lost some subscribers, but I mean it's.
Oh, you mean when I launched that the video the other day on Here's the Deal?
Yeah.
Are you talking about my high?
Yeah.
It was close to 150 in one day, and I usually gain like 100. So that probably means I lost 250, almost 300 maybe.
Unbelievable.
But it shocked me because I don't make I don't hide my politics ever. I pretty much wear my disdain for politics on my sleeve or lapel or whatever. And it kind of shocked me that, especially what the people who are in the genre of criticizing cops. I mean, when you know that Donald Trump is considering a federalized blanket of qualified immunity for all law enforcement officers, I don't even understand how you could possibly vote for him.
Unless you're a cop lover.
Yeah, which I don't know why cop lovers are watching me, watching my channel. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Nate.
But anyway,
Nate,
I just want to say, Brian, thanks for everything you do, because I mean, you're the only voice of reason on the internet. So I'm glad I've been following you. I've been following you for years. So
I appreciate it, man. I would not say I'm the only voice. There's so many people. I don't know if you know about Ryan Christian from The Last American Vagabond, Derek Bros.
Yes, I should. Yes, I mean, there's a few. I mean,
who else is
following certain voices for years. I mean, I do still follow Luke Rudowski.
Yeah, you know who else is really good that I haven't heard from in a long time is James Corbett.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him in a while either.
Yeah, Corbett.
And I do like Jimmy Dore. I do follow Jimmy Dore. I mean, despite I may disagree with him on some things, I mean, I still think he's pretty honest on most issues.
He's experienced a political revolution or an evolution, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been part of it too, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I would like to sit down and talk with him too.
Yeah, it'd be a great conversation for you guys to have. I think you guys would agree on 90% of the issues out there.
Yeah, it's always the 10% of poison that always bugs me, though. It's like, you got this whole gallon of water with you. What's wrong with this little eyedropper of arsenic? It's like, well, because it's arsenic. I don't want
I don't
arsenic
know.
in my
Maybe
water.
that's what keeps it balanced, though.
Yeah, but I think we've maybe there was a time that we could get away with just a little bit of error or whatever. But I think and I don't want to be such a purist that it's exclusionary because there's always somebody more pure than you. You know what I mean? But I think we can all pretty much agree that giving away $6.2 trillion of transgenerational debt slavery ain't going to lead us down the road of freedom.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just so. I can't believe people buy it. I just can't.
Well, I can't believe people buy it and then they turn around and make excuses for it. Like, well, everybody makes mistake. It's like, that is not a mistake. That is intentional right there. You know that there's a lot of planning and the stimulus package had 5,800 pages in it and Trump sat down and signed it anyway. He probably didn't read one paragraph of it.
Yeah, but he had to. We had the COVID.
He didn't have a choice. He was forced into it. It's like, okay, then the deep state runs the show. I mean, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
Trump
exactly.
cannot free you from the chains of your oppression if Trump is not in the driver's seat. It's like they want their cake and eat it too, and it just doesn't work like that.
Listen, it was a pleasure talking to you. Keep up the great work you do, and I still follow you. So keep up the great work, and thanks for everything.
Appreciate it, Ricky. Thanks, man. Take care. Nate, you're up.
What's up, man? How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, man. Thank you. Hey, I'm 35 years old. I've kind of been down the rabbit hole since I was like 16. I've been watching you since like your Abraham Lincoln was a tyrant video, old school
cool.
stuff. My whole thing is like none of these politicians are talking about things that really matter. Like my big thing is like our food and our water. We're paying all this money to be poisoned. Like we eat this food that's got bioengineered ingredients in there. It's all expensive. The water is fluoridated. Like I'm from Utah, and you can go to utah.gov and you can type in how much fluoridation they have per county in the water. And it boggles my mind how grown adults, like nothing is getting better. Everything's only getting worse. I'm not trying to be black pill, but like every 4 years, it's the same cycle of destruction. It's just like, oh, well, things are going to get better if I vote for this person. Things are going to get better, but nothing is changing. I mean, Trump presided over some of the most censorship that I've ever seen. He let his own audience get censored. He got censored. He didn't do anything.
Let me use that as a springboard for just kind of furthering what you're talking about. He literally suggested that he get with Bill Gates to close down the internet because people are saying things that he doesn't like. It sounds exactly like what Lincoln did to the journalists in the North during the Civil War.
Yeah, I forgot about that, man. I totally forgot about that. But I mean, it just blows my mind. Like no one's talking about it. Like everybody's talking about, I don't know, Trump's bad, Kamala's bad, but like nobody, I agree with like some of the border stuff, because our economy is falling apart, but I'm worried about where my career is going to be in the next 5-6 years with how America's turning. But
one of the major reasons though why we have an immigration problem, if you want to call it that, is because the government, who says they're going to be the answer to the immigration problem, are incentivizing people to cross the border to such an extent that these people are going 2,000 or 3,000 miles, risking life and limb just to come across the border so they can get a free cell phone, a free place to stay, a bunch of money in their pocket, a credit card.
Yeah, and I've heard stories of like they're getting like $1,200, $1,300 a month cards that just on the taxpayer dime, just a free swipe, and they're getting subsidies for housing, stuff like that. But yeah, my biggest thing is the food, man. No one's talking about the food. Everyone's talking about non-issues to me.
Yeah.
But
food, air, water, those are pretty important things that nobody seems to be wanting to discuss. And Trump's solution is we'll get RFK Jr. on board. He'll fix everything.
And when you went to that Trump rally, that video cracked me up, man. It was really refreshing because it was a while before you did some man on the street stuff. And it was just funny seeing those people like try to like juggle with their own double think, right?
Yep. Yeah. The cognitive dissonance and the disharmony in their mental acuity is really disturbing to me.
But to everyone listening, guys, keep stacking your beans, bullets, bullion. keep supporting this, share the truth with people, even if people don't want to hear it. Like, you got to speak up. I really feel like I see some people in the comments that are like, well, you're wasting your time. Like, you can't talk to these people because they're just not going to listen. But we've got to do something. Like, I don't like black pill mentality where you just lay down and take it. I mean, if you look at history, guerrilla warfare has been very effective for countries that were weaker. That's how the Revolutionary War was won, supposedly.
Yep.
But if you just like have this power level, you have all this knowledge, and you don't share it with people, there's no point in studying this stuff. Like, you need to, if you love people, I believe the truth will set you free. Like I ran into some health issues a few years ago, and it changed my life for the better. Like, I learned more about the truth and health and stuff like that, but I never would have done it had I like not been brave enough to like experience the truth for myself. So,
and think about how much better your life will be mentally and physically if you just pull up to the McDonald's drive-through window and order a Happy Meal.
yeah, $5 for a hash brown. I'm really looking forward to that.
You know what's crazy to me about McDonald's? I don't know about you, but in my town, and this is a very small town. It's Tahlequah, Oklahoma, just east of Tulsa. And I'm talking about day and night, the drive-through is packed. It is hard enough to find regular food that's good for you, let alone shoveling the outright poison that they have to offer in your body. It makes no sense to me. People have the internet. They can educate themselves, but it's like they choose to be in their ignorance.
Yeah, you're still in OKC, right? Or around there?
No, Tahlequah. It's on the east side of the state. OKC is more on the western side.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't eaten fast food in a few years,
Yeah.
It just scares me. I mean, these same companies that somebody said, I think it was you, I forget, but you said, why would mainstream media want you to vote? And that's funny because the same company that owns CNN owns Fox. So like, that's not a conflict of interest, but these same people, they also McDonald's, we got Del Tacos over here and all kinds of gross stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the audience too. Like, the comment sections really give me hope. And
yeah, me too.
Yeah, it could be kind of hard at times. You get a lot of naysayers and stuff, but I mean, that's the beauty of free speech, baby.
Yep. Amen. I agree with you. All right, Nate, appreciate it, man.
Okay. Appreciate you. You guys have a good day.
All right. Take care. What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
You think that you could psychologically disarm a population by putting somebody in office that they perceive as a hero?
I mean, be more specific. Give me an example.
You don't have to take their guns if they think the guy that's running the show is on their side. Why would they need to give up their guns, right?
Right.
It's like a psychological way to kind of pacify a nation.
Yeah, yeah.
You think that's what's going on?
Well, I just think I think psychological operations are more potent and effective historically than just coming right out and saying, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me your guns.
Right.
Yeah,
I kind of wonder. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I kind of wonder if, like, how everybody's saying how much farther can they kick the can down the road? What if they can't kick it down the road any farther, and we might be heading into like some rough times, and luckily we got somebody who we think's on our side, so everybody's just going to go with it. You know what I mean? But you see what they're putting. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Do you see what they're putting?
You see what they're putting into the movies, like Leave the World Behind, and like you see what they're trying to bring about. I feel like is chaos from every angle. They want to bring about chaos, and I wonder. I don't know, man. I hope I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I think might be coming, and that's kind of why I think they need somebody like this in office. And they put a lot into making him like the narrative that they've crafted. Like they've done a lot. It's weird.
Yeah. What movies are you thinking of specifically? Because I don't really watch movies that often, and when we do, we fall asleep through them, and it's like they're not even interesting to me.
I hear you. Yeah, I haven't watched them either, but Leave the World Behind is one with that Obama had something to do with financing. It's like a doomsday movie, and there's a lot of them.
I just recently learned, like in the last 3 or 4 months, that one of the guys that was on Trump's administrative team, Steve Mnuchin, has bankrolled a lot of like Disney movies. Did you know that? And he worked with the Weinstein brothers and all that.
I did not know that.
I mean, you're talking about, not only is this guy globalist for Goldman Sachs, but he's also in the Hollywood scene. You're talking about filling the swamp with some pretty evil people.
Yep. Yeah. And that stuff, like the news has real dirt that they could be giving us, such as that, but they don't talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? They literally lie about the guy, because that's what got me on board with him in the first place back in the day was, well, they're lying. You know what I mean? What they're saying is stupid. That's not true.
Yeah.
So if they're lying, that made me think like, oh, you know what I mean? What's up with this guy? Honestly, when I got out of high school, like there was like 9/11 made me think some shit growing up. And when I got out of high school, I knew that it was just like a puppet to a corporation, and it was just to give somebody to complain to. And I never cared. And then when Trump showed up, that's the first time I voted. Not even 2016, but in 2020. I voted for him.
And what drove you to him was the mainstream media being against him primarily?
Mainly, I would say initially, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really thought he was America first. Like I fell for it.
Yeah.
Because the news didn't give me any reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, and I can see why, because if you got somebody that's portrayed as kind of an outsider that has the gruff language, he's not a polished politician, and he looks like he's a businessman and he's operating from outside, it's like, wow, that's like the perfect makings of a WWE cast. You got this guy that everybody thinks is the good guy, and he's going to go against big bad Obama. Why wouldn't we vote for this guy? I totally get it. Psychologically speaking, it kind of makes sense.
Yes, and he was on WWE a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Well versed in the WWE world, and I mean he's an actor.
Yeah,
right. The Apprentice.
Somebody suggested to me there's a Netflix special called, I think it's called Mr. McMahon. But if you skip to episode 6, which is the last episode, and watch the first 7 minutes, one of the ladies it's got Donald Trump taking Vince McMahon down and them shaving his head with the cream and the ring and everything. One of the things that the lady said was, when we got Donald Trump into the White House, we got the Russelification of Washington, D.C. And I was like, they're just put it out. They're just like, here's
put it in your face.
Yeah, look what we did to you. There's nothing you can do about it. It's crazy.
There's a meme. There's a meme, and it's like, remember when we all found out that wrestling was fake and gay? Well, politics is like that now. And like, or no, it's like, remember we found out, but we just didn't care. Well, that's where we're at with politics now, basically. Like, just go keep rolling with it.
Yep. and then people attach their very identity and personhood to that, to the point where when you do go out and you do a man on the street interview, they get personally offended that you said something about Donald Trump, who they don't even know. They don't even know this guy. But they believe they do, and they're wearing his shirt, and they got his face here, and it's like Donald Trump all the way. I asked a couple people out there, and it's not just taking clips. I asked a couple people, is there anything Donald Trump could do to cause you to withhold your vote? And almost everybody said, without thinking, no, he's my guy. It's like that's lunacy right there.
Yeah, that's crazy that they got him into that state. Do you want to say something, Pat?
I kind of do.
Oh, let my girlfriend bounce something off of you if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me on. I've been listening in as John has kind of played your show for me, and I think you brought up some very eye-opening points. You've definitely brought up some facts that I was not aware of in terms of policies that Trump has said that he would support going down the line. But one of the questions that I hear coming up is, why are you voting for Trump? Well, unfortunately, the country's turned into a two-party system, even though we obviously have way more than two parties. But if I'm not going to vote, what message is that sending? I mean, I understand. I believe your take is that they're already going to put in place who they want to put in place. But
that's my take.
You
still there?
Am I just supposed to just not do anything? Like, I understand the elections are rigged. I understand both candidates are piss poor choices, and that they're controlled, and that what we see is not exactly what is there.
You do understand that?
So what do you tell to somebody like me who says, no, I don't support everything that this guy is for? In fact, there's quite a few things that are beyond disturbing to me. And yet this other candidate on the other side of the aisle is just as disturbing, if not more in some cases for me. Am I just supposed to sit back and not do anything when I have a string of ancestors that have fought for every single one of the rights that we hold dear from our Constitution? Am I literally like slapping them in the face by just saying I'm not going to do anything?
Because that's what they propagandize us to think. I believe. What do you think, man?
Well,
because it's fair.
We don't have a right to vote. If we have a right to vote, where did that right come from? And what is that? What is your
Wouldn't be
vote
better.
actually? What does your vote actually mean? Your vote actually means I'm consenting to the person that I'm voting for. Now, there are some people that'll say, I'm just a single issue voter. For me, it's just about guns. I'm just a Second Amendment guy. Some people will go, well, I'm just, it's all about abortion. For me, if I could just save one baby, it's like, first of all, you don't know if your vote's going to save one baby. Second of all, if you know for a fact, I mean, if you truly know, not believe, don't believe what somebody else says, but if you've done your research and you've come to the conclusion that you know that both of the candidates are literally hanging from the same puppet master's hand. They're just puppets to one puppet master. And no matter who you vote for, that same puppet master is going to be in, then your vote literally counts for nothing. It doesn't matter if the elections are rigged. It doesn't matter if one politician looks better than the other, or they have good policies. Let's say both politicians had perfect, constitutionally aware policies. Well, you can't trust them because all politicians are liars. It doesn't matter if what they're saying is right down the line as far as, okay, they're going to maintain my right to be secure in my person's house of papers and effects. They're never going to take my firearms. They'll always protect my freedom of speech. They're saying that, but you can never trust them because history shows that time and time again, all politicians lie all the time for political expediency, and it's usually for special interests. They're going to make money and they're going to accumulate power. So let me just ask you, if you truly know that both candidates are controlled by the same banking masters, and demonstrably they are, what does your vote count anyway? And the second thing is, if it's true that you're consenting to those puppet masters, then you're literally giving away your own righteousness, integrity, because whatever evil thing that person does that you voted for, whether Kamala or Biden or Donald Trump, if they do one evil thing, they've done it with your consent. So they've successfully demoralized and dehumanized you by you releasing your vote to them.
So I guess my question in regards to that, because again, that's a very, very valid point. And I can completely get on board with what you're saying. I guess the way I would counter that and continue to question is, there hasn't been a single person in the history of mankind that has ever made 100% pure, righteous decisions. Even the greatest kings still made mistakes and still made calls that were definitely not just, definitely not righteous, and yet still had a quote unquote good kingship, good leadership. And so I guess my fire back to that would be, sorry, we have a screaming baby.
never apologize for an innocent child, man. I love it. Love it. Go ahead.
But that's the only way to be a rebel nowadays, is to have a family.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Right. That's right.
And then, not jab them. But I guess that would be my other point, is if there is no going to be 100% pure, righteous leader ever in this country. I don't, with the exception of if Jesus Christ were to come down and say, hey, I'm taking the reins now in person, there is no candidate that would ever live up to that standard.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, so I'll let you respond to that. I'm gonna get the baby away from the phone.
That's right. All the more reason not to vote. It's like, if nobody out there is perfect. See, that's the other issue is the fiction of government. There is no such thing as government. If government truly is a person or a group of people who reserve the right to rule other, did I lose you guys? They dropped off. Was that me or them? I think I just lost them. All right, John, call back. Derek, I'm adding you to the stage. What's up, man?
I will.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem. Go ahead. I don't know where I cut out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Did you hear what I said about the concept of government? Government truly is, if you break down the word government, governo mentis, it means to control.
Control the mind.
Yeah, to control the mind.
Do you know what poly means?
Many.
And then do you know what ticks are?
Blood-sucking parasite. Yeah. I think that's a play. I think that's a play on words, but I think it fits. Politics is parasitic because basically every politician is a welfare recipient which is inherently immoral because theft is wrong. It's all by theft, and really the barrel of a gun makes it extortion. But I mean, the concept of government, we got to come to the grips of government is a fiction. It doesn't exist. And if government does exist, that means there's a guy out there or a group of men who has a higher claim over your life and property than you. And that is absolutely not true. If it is true, where did they get the right to rule you? And why do you have an obligation to obey them? And if you don't obey them, do you rightly deserve to be punished? We have to answer these questions, because really, if the answer is there's no such thing as government, then that makes this whole politics thing an absolute non-issue, and we need to start ruling ourselves. The only true rulership, the only true censorship is self-rulership and self-censorship. Nothing else exists.
I mean, there's definitely a reality to that I see and I long for.
I know that there are people who believe they can rule you, and you got to cough up 30% of your income every year or you get thrown into a cage. I know they believe that, but that's not the truth. And if it is, how come you and I don't have that power over other people? First of all, you and I don't want that power over the other people. And if we had it and we used it, we would rightly be called criminals.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, one thing I want the Christians to understand, I know they appeal to the abortion topic. Trump's pro-abortion very openly. He pushed back on Alabama and said that they were too extreme. I don't even know what they were doing, but they were like hard on abortion. And he said, no, that's not cool. He pushed against it. Florida was up doing some kind of 6-week ban. He voted against it. He was on TV talking about, I'm going to tell them that's not enough time. So like, if you're pro-abortion, like this is so, or if you're against abortion, rather, this guy's for it. So what is that argument? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, I think it's all laughable because the concept of government is that it is a death cult. So what does the death cult care about life? They don't. In the last 100 years alone, we've the U.S. government alone, excluding wars, has racked up over 250 million bodies. Without wars, if you put wars in there, it's over 500 million. So when people are talking about a death cult being caring about life, they don't. They want to drop bombs and kill babies and tear up families and steal oil, steal resources that don't belong to them. I'm going to move on to Derek, though, because he's been waiting for a long time. Thanks, John.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Bye. Derek, did you want to say something? Oops, at the stage. Derek, did you want to say something? Do you want to say something, though?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hey, I get real nervous, and I'm not real smart to debate anything. But if I could just 30 seconds of my story so I could share it with the world, that would make my day.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, California says that you have to go to court if your paternity test. If a woman says you're the dad, you have a certain amount of window to take care of this, and if you don't, you're defaulted the dad. I'm denied a DNA test. I'm denied all lawyers. My bank is purged every 45 days. All my checks are garnished. I cannot save no money. My credit score is completely crashed, all because I missed a court date in 2003. I love your show. I've been here for like 10 years, if not longer. Been here a long time.
Wait, how do we correct? Like, how long are you going to be in this hamster wheel of them extorting your money from you?
I don't mean to get all excited, but this controls my whole life. I'm not allowed proper housing. I can't lease a car. I've been in this for over 15 years because I can't pay, and I'll be in this forever. And I promise, I'm not lying. I'm denied all lawyers because the judge said I'm stuck in a loop. And if I get a DNA test and I'm not the father, I still have to pay up to the child is 24 years of age. I paid over $100,000 and I owe $8,000 in interest. And I can't pay that $8,000. And that's why I'm standing here for the last 35 minutes. Thank you for your time.
Well, wait a second. I want to know more, because how did you get into this loop? What government department or agency? What state? I mean, there's a lot of things.
Okay. California's California. I went to a party and this woman said I was the best candidate for the dad. So she put it on me. I'm not the dad. And I didn't go to court in a timely manner.
Hold on, pause for a second. You went to a party and a woman said that you impregnated her, right?
Yep.
9 months later, when she has the baby, she says you're the dad, tells the court, they just take her word for it and then start taking your money.
Yep. And this is where I messed up. I was drinking at the time and I had to leave and go to another state. And when I came back, they said, you missed your window of opportunity. You're defaulted the father. You are denied all lawyer. You are denied everything. My bank is purged. My credit score is below 500. I do not exist as a civilian. I don't want to say this, but I am a U.S. Army veteran. I don't want to bring any shame to them because I'm not the smartest. I'm down and out, and I can never get any better. And this will be the rest of my life. I'm 41 years old, and I've been choking on this for over 15 years.
Is there any way you can leave and go to another state and then just escape this?
So I ran away to Texas, and it's my social security number. So I got a job at the car wash, and boom, they garnished my checks. I'm not allowed no money, no savings. That's why I said I'm denied the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
Because I work so hard, and I'm not the smartest, and people just take advantage over me and crush me. And there's nothing I could do it. So I just figured I'd stand here for 30 minutes. I've been waiting like months since you let people call in. So I'm a big fan.
Well, can you email me so we can like maybe explore some options here? And my second question is, since 2003, have you ever tried to find a group that of people who this also has happened to? Because I'm sure it's not just you, right?
No, there's many people, thousands of people that are completely denied a DNA test. If they get a DNA test and it's not their kid, they still have to pay because they missed a window of opportunity, it's called, and we're stuck in a loop. And I've never met a group or anybody that could ever even give me a hand. That's why I'm here, you know, being who I am, you know.
I'm sure that like there's some research that can be done, because I'm sure that you are not the only person this has happened to. And if there is a group that you can get with, and maybe you guys can all, you know, pool your resources or whatever and get something done that gets you out of this stupid hamster wheel.
The best thing I could think of is like if I was able to do like a GoFundMe, because I really only owe $8,421. But that might as well be $8 million. Because if you don't have it, you don't have it, and you're never going to get it. And I'm paying $200 a month, and I have no rights, no power. I cannot lease a vehicle. My house here has mold, and it's disgusting, and it's a little 5x10 trailer. I'm not allowed anything. And that's why I just wanted to share my message and say, hey, you know, if one person learns from this and this doesn't happen to them, that's all I would ask for.
Have you been in contact with this woman?
No, not since 2003. She showed up at work, at my work, and she says, "Hey, you got a kid?" I said, "Oh, whoa, can I take a break real quick from my manager?" And he said, "No." And she drove off, and my check got garnished right after that. And then she moved away. Never was able to make contact. And then when I finally get able to take care of it, I have no power at all.
What you're describing here is literally zero due process. You didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, and I'm completely denied a DNA test. So even if I was to go and get, okay, I could pay for lawyers, but I've had lawyers laugh at me. No lawyer will touch my case because I'm stuck in a loop. And everybody laughs and says, oh, I should just made my court date. It's all my fault.
Yeah.
But here I am 15, 20 years later, and I'm still, I'm drowning. I'm drowning.
So this child from 2003 has to be like 18 or 19 now, right?
Yep. But I've paid off the main balance. But since I got behind, I have to pay off the interest. And that's what's holding me back.
Holy cow, man.
So once I pay off this here's what the worst is, they suspend my license every month that I don't pay $700 a month.
Man, I don't know. Just can you email me? contact@highimpactflix.com.
Let me write this down.
Just it's under all my videos. contact@highimpactflix.com.
Okay. Hey, you're extremely intelligent, and you're one of the greatest journalists that I've ever heard of or even spoke to. And I absolutely appreciate you taking this call, because in 15 years, nobody has cared.
Well, man, I appreciate it, but I'm definitely not extremely intelligent. But if you can reach out to me, maybe we can put you in touch with some people that can help you, or we can pool resources and help you out. I don't know.
Anything. Hey, you just saying you care and you listen, that goes the distance.
That sounds nightmare. I've heard stories like this, but I've never ever actually talked to somebody that's actually going through it. If you're going through this, my heart's out to you. And just make sure when you email me, just say something in the subject line, like you talked to me on live stream or something like that. Because
okay,
I get a lot of emails, man.
Not a problem. Hey, I absolutely appreciate your time, and keep doing what you're doing. And hey, when I'm president, you're going to be the people that speak to all the press.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you.
Take care. What's up, Solar Bear? You're on.
Hello. I just want to start by saying that you're the absolute best, and there's nobody better. You have the biggest YouTube channel out there. By
Shut
sounding like
up.
Trump.
Shut up, man.
I just don't
I am the
I don't understand
greatest.
how
I am
anyone takes him
beyond.
seriously.
I don't know. You kind of offended me because I'm beyond fantastic. Okay.
I don't understand it. I don't know how you would pass a speech class if my child gave his speech verbatim, they would get an F. I just don't understand it.
I know, man.
But
just that people are willing to. I mean, when I was out at these Trump rallies, like I've seen it on TV, but seeing it on TV and listening to reports and news and all that stuff is different than actually going out at these rallies and these events. People are out there all freaking day. I don't care if it's blistering outside. I don't care if it's freezing. I don't care if they're passing out and being taken to ambulances. They want to see Donald Trump, and it is crazy to me.
yeah, you really changed my mind and opened me up to seeing for what it is. So I'm glad you started the channel. I guess there's one thing I want to get through. Maybe it's helped me a lot. And maybe it'll help others when they're dealing with who do I vote for? Like, don't I need to vote for somebody? And the book Stephen Covey wrote, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Have you read that or listened to it?
Nope, never heard of it.
It's a great book. And one of the things it talks about is your circle of concern and your circle of control. So, the politics, especially federal politics, is way beyond your circle of control. It's your circle of concern. You can, be worried about it and you can share the message and everything. But your circle of control is a much smaller circle. And that's the things that you can influence. You can influence increasing your skills, getting a better job, or getting a second job, or saving money, or prepping for a disaster. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a long process, but I've seen more gains from improving, taking ownership of my life and improving it than anything the government has ever done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, self-improvement is where it's at. And that's why if we had like, I know I always quote it and it sounds like cliche, but when Samuel Adams said, no people will tamely surrender their liberties, nor can any be easily subdued when knowledge is preserved and virtue is basically held up to a high standard. If you like, Schoolhouse Rock, it's probably federally funded or whatever, but it's true. Knowledge is power. And then when you apply knowledge to your life, you get wisdom. And then when you get wisdom, you tend to fall for things less. You tend to fall for deceptions less. And then when you have a moral high ground or you walk according to principle, you're not going to be voting for a bunch of charlatans. And if we had a whole society that was reputation based, which we're far from that, you would have a completely different economic, monetary landscape, business landscape, relation landscape, community. Everybody'd be way different if they turned off the frickin' Boobus Americanus tube and started working on themselves, which is kind of like what you're saying, right?
Yeah, yep. If you work on yourself, then none of it matters. It doesn't matter. You don't have to give up your principles and your morals to vote for somebody, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yep.
And you're kind of, you know, leading credence to that message of saying it doesn't really matter who you vote for because they're both owned by the same people. But and then another book I really enjoyed was Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, and it just talks about saying, if you take extreme ownership, saying everything is your fault, and instead of pointing fingers, because if you
Mhm.
have two people in the room pointing fingers at each other, then the solution isn't, you never come to a solution because the
Right,
only
right.
thing you're doing is spending energy pointing fingers at the other person. But if you take ownership and say, even though the other person messed up, what could I have done better? And preventing that. So, with Derek, it's hard, it's a hard pill to swallow. But if he takes ownership and says, "What can I do better?" And to improve my life from where it is now, acknowledging the fact that it may not be his fault, the system is against him, but you got to push forward. You gotta take that leap.
Yeah, and like Michael's saying in the room, surround yourself with like-minded people, as long as those people aren't yes men, because you need you need a friend who's going to tell you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear, because one of the most dangerous things that we can all do, and we have the propensity to do it, is seal ourselves in our own echo chamber and just surround ourselves with yes men who are going to tell us what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Those sound like old books. Are those old books?
The Stephen Covey book is Extreme Ownership's. That's a little newer, but I was reading in chat saying Jocko supports Trump. I don't really care who people are supporting. It's just the message from it, I think, is applicable to everybody, and it doesn't, the person who wrote it doesn't take away from the message.
The 3 books that I would recommend to people is the Most Dangerous Superstition by Larkin Rose, Crowd Psychology by Gustave Le Bon, and Propaganda by Edward Bernays. You're talking about books that make you look on the outside. These are 3 books that cause you to question everything. I'm sorry, take a look on the inside. These books cause you to question everything on the outside. And there's super objective conclusions that you can arrive at just by asking yourself a couple of just really basic questions.
Yep. Well,
all right, brother.
It. Have a good one.
Thank you. Hey, thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Brick Jonesy, you are on the stage. What's up, man?
What's up, brother, man? How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, all is well. Life is well.
Better than I deserve, actually.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad to see that you're doing well. So I wanted to come up just to chat a little bit about the voting issue. I really kind of, you've probably mentioned it before. I want to understand your position. Are you for or against voting, period?
Well, it is giving away your consent to a psychopath who is lying to you and wants to steal your property. So I would definitely be against it.
Okay.
I don't tell people not to vote. I just ask, why would you? What's the logical reason of voting? It doesn't even make logical sense. It doesn't make moral sense or logical sense.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just wanted to know whether it was for or against. And I assumed that it was against personally, because you do seem to have that stance as you talk about.
Plus, there's an aspect that I don't usually talk about, and maybe I should talk about it more. But when you're giving away your consent to have somebody rob and rule you, you're also saying, oh, by the way, Mr. Politician, who I can't trust and will always lie to me and work for the special interest groups and lobbyists in Washington, D.C., I want you to rob and rule my neighbor, too. It's like, who do you think you are to have your political elitist psychopathic puppet rule your neighbor? Now, it's one thing for you to say, I want you to rule me, but to say you want somebody to rule somebody else, no, that's really bad.
Right. Yeah, no, I can kind of see where that's the thing. It's like consent for myself and then also consent for someone else. Like that's kind of drawing a very thin line. A thin blue line, perhaps. But so this is my concern about it, because so when people say, well, I won't vote at all, is there particularly someone that you might personally vote for, saying, hey, this person does seem to have principles, values, that if they wrote some laws that they might, have something valuable to contribute to society, something of principle, as opposed to just the 2 candidates?
You mean if I could, let me see if I can put it into different words. If I could formulate and fashion the perfect individual who I would vote for, would I vote for them?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, because government is a lie. It'd be like me participating in fiction. It's like I'm asking somebody to rule me. I don't want an angel to rule me. Okay. And I know everybody that I have an option to vote for are all devils. So if I wouldn't want an angel to rule me, then I wouldn't want anybody else to rule me.
I guess this kind of gets into ideology a little bit. I know that this is really ultimately, you talk a lot about politics. But
Well, it's not really about ideology, it's about reality. In reality, does somebody have the right to rule you? If the answer is yes, where did that rule come from, and why don't we all have that power? I mean, like, is there a superhuman being that bestows that power, or are these individual superhuman beings themselves? Well, we know neither of those are true. So if nobody's got the right to rule me, then voting is really a non sequitur. It's like, why are you doing it? Like, there's no such that. It's not legitimate. None of this is legitimate. And to participate in a game that is inherently illegitimate is to bring into question and actually give away any virtue that you thought you had.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. In fact, so as someone who believes in the God of the Bible, so it is understood amongst most genuine Christians, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that even Jesus himself didn't want to be some kind of ruler of man without being appointed. Now, he, according to the Bible, was appointed, but that was only after, according to the Bible, he was risen. So if it is the case that some ruler exists, right? Some ruler, it would be some higher power, not necessarily some grandiose, thought-provoking man providing you with some promises, right? So, and I do agree with that. The idea, the sentiment that men ruling over men is just a fallacy in of itself. But if that is the case, participating in it at all, producing some type of narrative at all, to vote or not to vote, that in of itself is kind of a fallacy, is it not?
Get a little more detailed.
So if you tell somebody, look, I mean, I can't really fault you for it, and I'm not trying to be a jerk to you or nothing like that. Basically, the way that it just, to me, the way it comes off is that if you're going to ask somebody and be adamant about why they vote, are you not yourself participating in the politics of the day?
How are you participating in when you're calling it out? I mean, if you're saying participation in means exposing it, exposing the fallacy of it, how is exposing the fallacy of something being a participant in it?
Because you're speaking about it rather than speaking about your own personal principles. See, because people have their ideas, their ideologies towards politics, towards religion, towards all of their life. And so you can present why a thing is wrong. Like, for instance, like you said, murder is wrong. Taking things without permission is wrong. That's, theft. But when
there's only one reason why that's objectively wrong, because in some societies they say, hey, theft is okay. I mean, because that's how we live. That's what we do. The only thing that makes it wrong is you wouldn't want that same thing done to you. And if you say that you do, then you're lying to me or you're a psycho.
Right. Well, so that of course would be subjective then, because that's society standards.
Well, that's each individual in society standards. It's not like in the majority says this is wrong, therefore it's wrong. No, the majority knows it's wrong. And if they're honest with you, they'll tell you it's wrong because they wouldn't want it done to them. So the moment that person who steals from you or rapes your daughter or murders your son does that, then they're doing that thing which they know they wouldn't want done to themselves. Therefore, they're being the most vile person in the world, not just a murderer or rapist or a thief. They're actually being a hypocrite.
Right. And so when it comes to legal and lawful, so a society will make something legal versus not legal, but lawful does deal with the ideas of principle. And so when it comes to what is lawful, that's when you get into the realm of ideology. So when you talk about voting, you're really talking about people's ideologies. I just want to bring it to your attention because I do know that you're doing the man on the street thing, and that's wonderful. I love it, man. And I actually do agree with you about the voting principles, that if your ideologies don't revolve around the principles of the legal stuff, then why the heck are you voting at all or getting involved at all? However, this is one thing I will say about the voters. When they vote, they don't have to vote for one of the two candidates. They could vote for Mickey Mouse. They could vote for Brian. They could vote for Brick. They could vote for anybody. Personally, I have one individual in mind who I would vote for. I've publicly stated who I would vote for. This is the only person I've ever stated that I would vote for. But I like the ideas that he has. I like the changes that he would make, or at least I believe he would make. Do I believe that every piece of the system would change? Do I believe that people would be able to pursue happiness and liberty and that sort of thing the way that they wanted to every aspect of their life? Well, no, of course not. That's just not even possible in reality. However, I do want a better life for people. So what am I voting for? Well, I'm voting for that better life. And by voting for a specific individual, I might be voting for that. But that doesn't, like I said, necessarily mean I have to vote for one of the two candidates. Putting a vote in doesn't mean you put in a vote for one of the two candidates. That's basically what I'm saying. You know, so it's not that I'm opposed to your idea of not voting. If you don't want to vote, that's on you, and it's nothing wrong with that. But also the idea of voting isn't necessarily wrong. If you don't like either one of the candidates, you know, vote for third party, vote for Mickey Mouse, vote for Brian. Vote, you know, put a name in there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but still, we kind of got off in the weeds because you're basically saying because I'm exposing the illogical action of voting that I'm participating in it. How is that true? It'd be like, let's say there's two 10-year-olds on a schoolyard and one of them goes, "What's Santa Claus going to bring you for Christmas?" And the other one goes, "You haven't heard, there's no such thing as Santa Claus. It's your parents. They're eating the cookies. They're drinking the milk. They're putting the presents under the tree." The kid who warned the other kid that there's no such thing as Santa Claus and get your head out of your fictional derriere is not participating in the delusion. He's telling the other person he needs to get out of the delusion. So I'm not following you with the being a participant in the voting process by telling people that voting is illogical.
Well, I mean, you know, you can call it a delusion. You can, and I know that's what your channel is based on here. But it's not entirely a delusion, because there is a process for voting, and people don't understand the process. See, that's actually one of the problems is people don't understand what the Electoral College is. People think that their vote is what's going to get the president in or get the, you know, that's not accurate. The federal elections like that's an Electoral College thing, right? And
right. So even on that plane right here, you're making my point for me. It's like your vote literally counts for nothing except, I mean, the don't get me wrong. I think voting has a great significance, but not significance in that you're going to change the outcome of some kind of general presidential election. It has great significance, and people unleash massive amounts of money in election campaigns. Mainstream media can't stop talking about going out to vote. The DNC, the RNC, the reason they want you to vote is because it is truly a humiliation, demoralization ritual. They have to bring you to the point where we're going to drop these bombs, we're going to steal your money, and we're going to do it with your consent. It's very important that your consent is part of that. Now, OG Ghost says you will be ruled over by someone whether you vote or not. That's not the issue. And he also says, doesn't matter if you consent or not, the laws and the government will persist. And when you cry about how many are participating, that's proof of how irrelevant your not voting really is. OG Ghost doesn't understand it. Voting is very important. It's very important that you submit to their ritual so that you can partake in the ritual and demean yourself by asking evil people to do evil things in your name. It's very important.
Yeah, and I don't, like I said, I don't disagree with it. What you're saying there, OG Ghost, you're kind of off in the weeds there a little bit. Yes, every ship has a captain. However, that's not really the issue here because the captains are appointed really of those ships.
And you can, and with a captain and a vessel, you can choose not to board the vessel. If you're born in America, you don't get to choose if people believe in the delusion of government or not. They're going to rule you whether you want them to or not. That doesn't mean that you should consent to it or it's a good idea to consent. And it doesn't mean that if you, what it does mean is if you withdraw your consent, they're going to do their evil, but they're not doing it with your approval, which is what voting is.
Yes. And so the vote that you put in doesn't matter so much as the person who's in the Electoral College. So it's not the person, or it's not the vote, it's the person that votes.
Yeah,
So
but even that doesn't matter because the bankers control the electoral college. They control the RNC, DNC, which are private corporations, and whatever they put up on the ballot is approved by the Federal Reserve. And if anybody questions that, just look at an interview that they did with Alan Greenspan when he was the Federal Reserve Chairman. The question was, which should the relationship between a President of the United States and a Federal Reserve Chairman be? And paraphrasing, doesn't matter what Congress does, doesn't matter what the Supreme Court does, doesn't matter what the President does. We set the monetary policy. We have the dual mandate of controlling prices and employment and the issuance and value of your currency, and there ain't nothing you can say about it.
Yep, that's the brass tacks of it. We're now we're really on the point of it's the monetary system. There's been a huge problem within the monetary system. Personally, I have some ideas that I would love implemented, but those probably won't ever come to fruition. I do have an idea of how it should be versus how it is. But you know what, Brian, this has been a wonderful conversation. We actually hit on some really good points. I do believe, man, the ideas of voting, whether they're valid or not. Personally, I know that I say if you're not going to be for one of the two candidates, throw Mickey Mouse in there because that's better than no vote. Personally, I think. But you know what? Hey, if you say don't vote, or at least if you say you're not going to vote, then hey, look, man, that's your right to not vote, your right to say yes or no.
I mean, I could be wrong and have slipped out and said don't vote, but I usually don't tell people what to do. I usually tell people here's why I don't.
No, you
so if I
you don't.
Okay, well, Brick, I appreciate it. I'm going to bring Rick up here. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Love you, bro.
All right, take care. Rick, before I get you, before you speak, let me read what James Brown said because it kind of hits the nail on the head. Brian is trying to get people to accept responsibility, personal responsibility for their own actions, and to realize that their actions affect who they are as a person. And that's true. It's kind of an outgrowth of who you actually are. If you want to be a moron or a psychopath, then play the game. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, very interesting points you made. I just don't know why you don't start to delve into the Trump being such a Satanist.
Okay. I don't know what to say about that. It's not my it's not in my wheelhouse. I've never studied that, him being a Satanist.
Okay, Google.
Well, wait a second. Hold on a second. I don't see how it matters because first of all, I don't believe in some personage called Satan, and I don't see how that matters. He's doing evil things that nobody wants done to them, but seems like everybody's clamoring for.
Okay, let's see what this sign means. What does that sign mean?
It doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter what that sign means.
No.
I
guess you're really not into MAGA being the fifth highest degree in the Church of Satan.
No, MAGA has already shown itself to be evil. So, like, how do you get more evil than evil?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I have no idea why you don't even want to talk to Zachary K. Hubbard. I mean, that's unbelievable. What's going on?
Okay.
I mean, I think you should probably look into the truth a little bit more than you are.
The truth according to who? I mean, like, it's all. Do you believe there's a Satan, or do you know there's a Satan?
Well, there is good and evil. So, and the Church of Satan kind of shows you that there is something about it.
Well, there's also a Church of the Spaghetti Monster too, which is a spoof on the Bible. That doesn't mean the Spaghetti Monster exists. But what I'm asking you is, do you believe there's a Satan, or do you know that there's a Satan? Because knowing is different than belief, and belief is different from knowing.
Pretty good point, but there's good and bad in everybody, right?
But you can see that, and there's a standard by which you can measure it.
Okay, what's your standard of evil?
Do to others what you would want done to you.
Well, that's the golden rule, and I think everybody should abide by that.
Yeah, but you don't need a holy book, and you don't need a constitutional law to realize that, oh, I don't want that person breaking my nose or busting my kneecaps. I don't want that person stealing my TV or my furniture or denting my car. That's just like it's like self-evident. You don't have to explain to a second grader that it's wrong to steal toys. He automatically knows it because he wouldn't want that done to him.
Good point, but well, I mean, you are aware of gematria, right?
It's just not my wheelhouse, man. Other people do gematria. I personally don't.
Yeah, I've seen people do longitude, latitude, different points in the world that really kind of line up, but you've got receipts there, such as gematria.
Well,
numbers.
I see a lot of interpretation, and I see a lot of rule switching on all that kind of stuff, and I don't see anybody like if gematria was real, okay? And I'm not saying it's
What?
not.
Yeah,
If it,
yeah.
if it was real and you could actually read it and all that kind of stuff, then tell me what's going to happen in 5 years. Tell me what's going to use the Fibonacci sequence to tell me, it's like, to me, all that stuff is like palm reading. It's like, sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. And then astrologers, it's like, it's just not my thing. If that's something you want to do, that's fine. But to me, that lies in the realm of belief, outside of the realm of knowing.
Lie is in the middle of belief, but when you see numbers, they usually don't lie.
Well, it depends on how people. It's not about the numbers lying. It's about how people apply the, interpret the application of numbers. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well, they teach you in kindergarten. A is 1, B is 2, all the way up to Z is 26.
But what if I
They
don't
just
speak English? What if I'm not from an English-speaking nation? What if I'm from Zimbabwe? What if I have an Indian language? What if does gematria work for me if there's no English, or if there's no Hebrew, or there's no Greek?
Yeah, I think so. There's probably about 400 or 500 different ciphers in different languages.
Is there Zimbabwe cipher?
I never looked into that, but
because if I'm from Zimbabwe, then what does an English cipher do for me? That's where gematria. It's like you can ask these basic questions about gematria. It seems like all these people go along with this stuff, and it's like, wait a second, I'm living my life in a vacuum because not everybody speaks English or Hebrew or French or Italian. It's like,
but this world is full of numbers. Everything is numbered.
Okay, so what's the? I know, but there's numbers and there's languages and there's letters and then there's ciphers and then there's the men who get involved in applying these things. It's like when somebody tells me that I don't even know the astrological terminology, but they say my moon is in Venus or whatever. It's like, okay. And this means you have this kind of temperament. And it's like, sometimes they're right. And it seems kind of weird. But there's nothing objective about it. So if I live in Zimbabwe, I don't see how gematria applies to me in my life because I wouldn't understand your language.
But that's okay because they're teaching English everywhere, even in Zimbabwe.
But what if I'm in a tribe that doesn't speak English? How does gematria affect me?
I wouldn't know where to go with that one if you're not plugged in, I guess.
How many ciphers did you say there were?
Oh,
hundreds? Uh-oh, you cut out. Did I cut out or did you? Wait, I'm moving. You're not moving. You cut out. I really want to know the answer to this question. Rick, are you there? I think Rick lost connection, which sucks because I wanted to ask this question.
There I am.
Oh, there you are. Rick, how many ciphers are there? Do we know?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds. Didn't you have Derek on here just before?
Did we go into how many ciphers there are?
I don't know. I'm sure Derek probably's got that answer.
I didn't know he was into gematria. How many gematria ciphers? There are many gematria ciphers, with some authors listing as many as 231. Well, I got a little problem with that because according to the latest research, there are an estimated 7,000 languages in the world, all using different sentence structures, but there's only 231 ciphers. So there's a lot of people that are going to be left out of the gematria equation, I would think.
Well, it's a good thing we're English, I guess.
If it indeed applies to us, I don't know. It just sounds religious to me. It does.
Well,
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming forward.
Good. Hey, I think you ought to put Zachary K. Hubbard on here. I'm sure he's in the back room.
Have you seen what that guy says?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, you love the ad hominems? Is that the part that you love? Do you love the ad hominems?
Yeah, my gosh.
Yeah. Do you love the unfounded? Do you love the accusation without substantiation, which is the height of ignorance? Is that the part you love about him? Do you love the part about do you love the part about where this person says I talk about him all the time and I don't even give him a thought? It's just crazy. Just the lies are immense. All right, man. Appreciate it, Rick. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. All right. Back to Shamil.
What's up, Brian? What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes. What's going on in your neck of the woods, Mr. New York City?
Oh, bro, we had so many people. There were tons of people. Remember when I told you there were 5,000 people? I underestimated how many people were there. There was like tons of people, man. Crazy.
There had to be. Doesn't Madison Square Garden seat like 20,000 people or something?
Yeah, forget about inside. I'm talking about outside. The people were just standing outside, billions of gazillions of people just standing and I don't know, doing nothing, basically, just waiting for something. I have no idea what.
Yeah, some estimates say there were 50,000. Madison Square Garden holds 19,500.
Easy. That's, I mean, you asked me about the numbers on the Twitter. I know you reached out to me and I said 5,000. Then I'm like, no, this is not 5,000. This is like more like 100,000. There were a lot of people. That's all I have to say, man.
I bet the traffic around Madison Square Garden was crazy. See, I hate being in that kind of situation because I don't like being in a crowd of people because you can never underestimate the power of stupidity in large crowds. And you are way outnumbered and outpowered with stupid people, you know?
I agree 100%, Brian, 100%. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It's just the amounts of people were insane. I was really shocked, but how many people actually came and stood there outside. Forget about inside. I'm talking about outside, that they never even went inside. They were just standing outside. And I don't know, police blocked off many streets for the traffic, and it was crazy. It basically reminded me of the vaccine times, you know, the whole 9 yards, people lined up.
Just go ahead and say that on my live stream.
I'm sorry.
Damn you, Bacchus Jamil. Damn you.
Oh my God. Anyways, tomorrow in my building, they're gonna have early elections. I'm gonna try to record. My apologies, Brian.
That's all right.
I'm a douchebag. I gotta tell you.
No, you're not, man.
Tomorrow, my building will have early election. You know, in the hallway of my apartment building, they set up this election process where residents in the building, they go, you know, cast their vote basically. And I'm just gonna make a little video. I'm gonna show you what's going on in my lobby tomorrow. It's gonna be interesting, actually. So
where are you gonna put it? Instagram, Twitter?
No, I'm gonna put it on Twitter. I'll tag you so you get to see it. What's taking place in my own building. Forget about the whole, you know, that outside thing.
All right, brother.
All right, Brian. Sorry about that. My apologies.
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
love you, brother.
Day,
Take care. All right, one last. Vic, let me have it, man. Let me have it.
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Appreciate the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, it seems like, because I've caught a couple of your videos. It seems like this is a platform where you appreciate perspective, regardless if you agree with it or not. Am I right?
No. I gotta agree with it. If I don't agree with you 100%, I hate your guts. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, go ahead, man. What you got?
No. So I mean, what I'm saying is, if the goal is to expose overall, right, then why not allow Zach on and just have a conversation?
I don't talk to dishonest people, man. I really don't. When somebody shows me who they are, I believe them, and I'm not interested, man. He has pursued me for years. I ask other people, and it's like, no, I haven't heard from him in a long time. And it's like, why do I get the luck of being incessantly pursued by somebody?
Well, I mean, if you disagree with it, I mean, I can tell you someone who could keep a conversation going and kind of dispute anything that you might.
No. It's not that I disagree with him. I think I know by experience, he's a bad faith actor. And every time I see him in the chat room, he starts out really nice, but when I don't answer him, it's almost like being an authoritarian control freak. If I don't respond to him, then the fangs start coming out in the claws. And I know they're always there. I've dealt with, I'm not a spring chicken, and I'm not just gonna, If somebody's bad faith and I know, not believe, but know they're bad faith and they're a corrupt individual, I don't care how right on they are about whatever they're going to talk to me about. I just don't want anything to do with him. I want to live my life. He can live his life. He doesn't need me. He does fine on his own.
Got you. I got you. Okay, but I mean, this is your platform, so you have all the control. I just wouldn't see the harm because I kind of watch both of your videos. So I just don't really see the harm in bring him in out. And if you don't like what he's saying, you can kind of just kick him out, I guess. But the conversation would just be interesting. I mean, maybe I'm in the minority with feeling that way, but I just feel like if the overall goal is to expose, then maybe putting your personal feelings to the back seat for a couple of minutes wouldn't do so much harm. That's
Yeah,
just
it's not about my feelings. It's about the fact that I know who he is. I mean, let me just tell you. I mean, there's a history here. Just a couple of years ago, I called in. I think how it went was I called into him, and within 60 seconds, it was like he was slamming me about t-shirt sales. Well, look, if you don't want a t-shirt, it's like you're just I don't remember if he called me a grifter, but there were a whole lot of ad hominems and names. It's like, well, this isn't going to be a very good conversation, is it? So when I'm dealing with a bad faith actor, I know what's in their heart because they've revealed it to me. I know the fangs are ready to come out in the claws. It's just silly for me to get involved in that, in my opinion. There's a scripture verse that actually goes along with that. It says, answer a fool according to his folly, and you will be like him. It's not a good idea to associate with people are of a corrupt character.
well, that's your opinion, right? But as I said,
do you not believe the Bible?
um,
That's just what the Bible says.
yeah, I wouldn't say I live my life by the Bible. No.
Oh, okay. You believe the Bible's a false book then?
Not
Is there
necessarily.
is there any wisdom to be found in distancing yourself from somebody who could have a corrupt character?
Yeah, generally, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm at with that.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'll let you
But
go.
how about you? What's on your mind other than this individual?
Well, no, he's not on my mind. As I said, just from a person watching, I would have enjoyed the back and forth or the conversation, as a viewer. And but it's solely up to you. So that's your decision.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. Take care. All right. It is 8:23 Central Standard Time. I got to go get a workout in. I'm like 23 minutes past due on that. Chris, I tell you what, Chris, I don't want to leave you hanging, man. Can you take 30, 60 seconds? Tell me what you want to tell me.
Yes, I can. No problem at all. And I just found out about you yourself. I'm sure you're a very nice guy, and what you do is awesome. I'm not really too sure, but all I want to say is I do want to give a shout out to Zach. I've been following Zach for a long time, and I live out here in Vegas. I follow numbers and patterns recognition. So I follow I don't really follow gematria stuff, but I follow my numbers with the odds makers about sports. So real quick for you, I line my stuff up knowing that when he was talking about the information and the sports stuff that he was going through, it lined up a lot with my stuff, knowing that he is being honest and truthful with most of the information. I'll say all the information.
Just to let you know, just to let you know, to show his character, and I should screen record this. He actually is literally showing his character because he's viewing you being on here, giving a shout out to him as a troll, which is fine with me. Free market. I love it. And maybe there are people in his audience who think that this is a gotcha moment. I don't know if this is how you intend it, but this is exactly what I was telling the last guy about how corrupt this guy's core is.
Really? Okay, no problem. And I just came across because I saw that the live came on, and
so be honest with me. Did you come? So be honest with me. Did you come in here just to troll or what?
No, I didn't even think it was being trolling, actually, to be honest with you. I was just
okay. Well, then I'll take you at your word. Hopefully you're being honest. Okay, go ahead.
No, 100%. Actually, I mean very well, and I would never want to discredit anything. And all I was just going to say is following for my numbers and the stuff that he put out, it was very, it showed me because I never knew him at the time that he was giving out accurate information. Someone who was looking more for,
that's extremely debatable, right? If I remember a couple years ago, there was a guy that's actually devoted his channel to exposing all the lies that this guy tells. So I don't know have you ever seen that guy? I don't even know what his name is or anything.
sorry. And like I said, I'm not on here to troll or anything like that. So I just wanted to come out here and say that I find a lot of his stuff that he says lines up with my stuff, which makes it sense to me that hey, maybe he does have credible information and is on the right side. But I apologize. I'm actually very thankful that you let me on here for 30 to 60 seconds, and I appreciate the time. And you have an excellent day today. And by any means, truly thank you for the time.
Is your name really Chris?
Yes, my name is Chris, and my YouTube channel is Chris from Vegas. You can check me out. I am
Okay.
not a high fly, flashy guy. I'm a guy that just strictly follows numbers, but it's not based off gematria. I follow
Cool.
numbers, but odds makers. That's
Cool.
all.
I hope it works for you, man. Take care, Chris.
Thank you very much, and you have an excellent day, brother.
You too. Okay, guys, that's about it. It's amazing how people can be infatuated with somebody like that. It's just kind of a weird feeling. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Remember, vote if you want to. The question is just ask yourself why you're voting. So I can't believe that many people are hanging on this long. I am a windbag. So I appreciate you guys. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit like before you leave and make sure you share this out. I will see you in the next live stream. Take care.